is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. In West Philadelphia.
All right. Welcome back to the Cycling Collab podcast. Reon Nolan,
Yo.
the pro.
Yo.
Angus Petrie, the am. In the house as always. But actually, Reon, you may have to take a little seat back as we actually have a real pro in the house with us today.
I've been put in my place.
Laurence Pithie, welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
Yeah, boy. Loz is in the house.
Hey, just we'll get to you a bit later on. We're going to have a whole section on you, but we've slotted you in here into the studio. You're only our technically third guest,
Sure.
second show with a guest. Your brother actually preceded you, but however, you're about to go back overseas, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Correct. So perfect time to get you in. Reon,
Perfect timing.
how are you?
Oh, it's a big sight.
How's your foot? How's your foot?
Nah, foot's good as. I think, foot's all right. Foot's all right. I reckon it's about 90% now. It was pretty bad, to be honest. It was, I've definitely had some issues with it. Nah, she's all right. She's good now.
Good.
But, yeah.
Good.
All good.
Well, as always, thank you everybody that tunes in, that listens, that watches, that catches the show via YouTube or on your favorite podcast platform, whether that be Apple or Spotify or whatever it else might be. Give us a thumbs up, give us a like, give us a rating if you can on those platforms. That always helps. But also a big thank you to a new partner of the show.
Oh, juicy.
Scotty
Yes.
Mitchell from Timaru, SJ
Yes.
Mitchell Builders.
Yeah, awesome.
Contractor.
Yeah.
So Scotty is a bit of a Timaru legend in the biking world. He's part of the South Canterbury Mountain Bike Club, the Cyclocross Club, you name it. If it's got cycling involved with it down there in South Canterbury, Scotty is involved, and he is a passionate cyclist who loves our show and decided he wanted to get on board and give us a bit of a help to make sure that we can keep this thing ticking over.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. And did you know he's a badass BMXer?
I had heard.
No, bro, I'm SHIT. He's bad boy BMXer. Like, I won all the trophies, awards as a young person, does all the jump, everything. It's pretty fascinating. It's pretty gangster.
And it's funny as buggery who you run into. The other weekend I was staying down in Twizel, and first day we rode the Twizel to Tekapo, which is actually the alternate route for the A2O, but we actually rode it backwards instead of the way you're supposed to ride it. Anyway, the next day, Sandra and we took my parents to go and ride the Sailors Cutting section because it's a really nice section. And
juicy.
What do you know? We're just getting the bikes off the roof and things at Sailors Cutting, and here comes Scotty and Debbie riding past.
Cool. That's good. And now he's on board as a sponsor.
And now he's on board as an official sponsor.
As.
So Scotty, Deborah, thank you so much.
Yeah,
mean as for coming on board and being a part.
Savage.
Righto, well, let's bloody whip into the news of the world, and we might actually get a bit of expert advice on a couple of these topics that are going on.
I feel like I've been benched because he's in the room. Far out.
Oh, you'll always be the show of the star, the star of the show. So show of the star of the show. Let's start with the Walker, mate. Let's start with the Walker 100. Poor Tim Farmer indoor events. Yeah. They have had it up against them since October last year, really. Went to put on the Walker 100, the 100 miler, everything like that, just the other weekend. Yeah. And they got, on the Monday, they had council sign off. It was all go. They had all the plans. They had all the pens. They had it all segregated out. And then 2 days to go, like half an hour before registration opened, right?
Yeah, that's right. They called it off. Everyone got the emergency text on the app and then emails and stuff like that. And no one could really believe it, including Tim and the whole team.
And it sounds like there's a bit of political stuff going on there. But at the end of the day, the council, from what I understand, broke process. They gave them the green light to do this. Thousands of people have
booked, paid,
came. And this is the bloody most ridiculous, ludicrous thing I think is that, okay, the event didn't run, but all those people have still come to Rotorua. All those people are still mingling, and they all end up in the damn forest together.
Bro, in the forest.
Anyway,
mate, it was out the gate. I was riding every day there, but the forest is filled with more people. If there was no race, there's 1,000 more people there anyway, because it would have been all blocked off and stuff. So that was the sad part of it. Everyone was there anyway. Most people were there anyway, I should say. But getting the news, bro, I was actually. So we turned up there. we went and did some recce's of the course, and we went and did hot cross buns and a few other kind of the difficult tracks. And mate, I couldn't even ride down them because I couldn't pull up, and I could ride all the easy tracks. It's fine. But
so this is because of your foot.
Yeah, because of my foot, mate. Yeah, and I was like, I know I can finish, but how long is this going to take? 12 hours. And it was obviously you do this one box of birds at like 5:30 a.m. Type of thing. So it was actually pretty sketchy, eh? And then we found it 120 kilometers in. There was one that during the day, and if I was on my A game, I couldn't even bike. That's how hard it was. So Tim messaged me saying, "Are you ready for Hell Week?" And I was like, "Man, I've got this sus." And then when I seen the reality of what we had to put ourselves through, I was like, "This is next level."
And Tim will be the first one to tell you that nothing's easy. Nothing comes easy at the Waka 100. That's for sure.
Yeah, the whole build up. Okay, we've got the green light, and for the whole management team, okay, we're going ahead. And you're seeing days leading into it, all the tents being built up, the flags, the sponsors logos, the people turning up in the hotels in town for dinners. You're seeing people getting excited about it. And then to have that ripped out underneath you, and you're just seeing the atmosphere around town, around the park was just gutted, far out.
Where were you when the news broke?
Wow. So I didn't even know. So I wasn't getting a massage in the Pullman. I was getting a massage. I walked out all happy, and I was seeing Kate. Kate was in the lobby, and I was like, "Oh, who's died?" I was like, "Oh, what?" She said. She looked at me. She was like, "Check your phone." And I was like, "Babe," I was like, "Oh, what's wrong?" She's like, "Check your phone." And then I had the alert or whatever, and I was like, "You're effing kidding me? No way!"
Unbelievable.
I was so fucking gutted, bro. For the people involved, sponsors, and another event just being canned, So. But regardless, we had to get our minds right. We went for bike riding. It was quite cool to be up there, get away from Christchurch, have a small break. But gutted.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's been a flow-on effect from there. They've had to postpone the volcanic epic.
Yeah, Motor Tapu's off.
Motor Tapu's followed suit. They're off.
Coast to Coast has been called off, that one there.
Yeah, well, Coast, of course, 2 days called off. 1 day still going ahead.
Yeah. At this stage.
It's a real shame because I think if the Waka had pulled that off, I think it would have given the belief to some of these other race organisers that they can make it happen, and we could have kept going. Because now here's the other thing that really pisses me off.
Oh, let it out, Angus.
And
let it out.
well,
calm down, calm down.
Is the fact that at the end of that weekend, so most people still came. Okay, not everybody still went, but
that's right.
Probably 80% of the people were still there, right?
Yeah.
How many COVID cases were there?
Nah, that's it. We don't know yet, but so it's all that scaremongering, bro.
Correct.
There was that before the red status came back in, right? There was this big party somewhere, and thousands of people went, right? And then that on the news, this is pre-red light. Everyone, all on the news every day. Oh, that's going to be the super spreader. So all these events and councils and people that sign off, their names. So no one wants to be held accountable to be blamed if that fear, they're forecasting the future, and then all this shit's getting stopped. I mean, I understand, but it's just fuck.
And that is it a little bit, isn't it? Because they would have been the blame. They would have been the fall guy for why COVID got out everywhere and things like that. Well, the council would have been for letting it go, I guess.
But and it goes back to the whole it's so hard to run events at the moment, last 2-3 years. And why would you? Why would you put your ass and your financial future, your family to run events when you're getting your fucking balls chopped off 2 days before the race?
Yeah.
It's out the gate. So this could be the end of a lot of new events starting. Well, it is. No one's going to start a new event, is there?
No.
Why would you?
No, that's right.
And it's hard to pull in sponsors for the event that, is a new one, let alone to get sponsors for pre-existing events that are always constantly put on hold as well. Out the gate.
And bloody good thing we're here to still entertain people, though.
Yeah. 100%. But you won't shut up. Be quiet, mate.
Well, actually, I'm just going to ask him a question because while we're on the COVID thing, because of course it's just about a feature of the show every day. Yeah. But right now, the Volta Valencia has been happening, and it's just dropped. I assume you've been following what happens on the other side of the world, Loza, before you go back. I see that Bike Exchange, Jumbo Visma, DSM have all pulled out. Movistar have pulled some riders out, but left some in. What are you thinking about all of this? Can this obviously can't sustain itself. We can't keep having bike races and halfway through it, whole teams pull out.
Yeah, of course, it's not ideal for any of those teams, really. I saw Movistar, they had 2 positive cases. They pulled the 2 riders out, but they've left the rest of the team in, which, I'd say it's probably quite frowned upon, considering the other teams have taken the precautions to pull the whole team out when they had positive cases.
So it seems like, normally if well, in a close-knit team, because they are pretty all close together and keeping together, aren't
Yeah.
they? That if two have got it, there'd be a bloody good chance that the rest have got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or in the next day or two are going to
Yeah.
have it, right?
I mean, unless we don't know anything about some teams might have a split roster, so they split the whole team. So if that half the team does get it, no massage, no eating, they split. But I don't know if they can do that in the motels and shit. Like,
yeah,
surely not.
It's really hard when you're eating together,
Yeah,
doing all the
Yeah.
stuff together. Everyone's mixing.
Yeah.
Once you're in that bubble, you're
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
with the team.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, at team camps, they
Yeah.
can split it up.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah.
the climbers.
Yeah.
Keep like a certain race
True.
group. But yeah, once you're in that race
Yeah.
environment,
Yeah.
I guess it would be really hard. And then of course you've got like everyone's racing with each other each
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
So
Out the gate.
it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Over the next week.
100%.
So what have they said to you? Is there a mandate? Like, do you have to test every day or what?
So for the UCI races I did, which were mainly 0.1s and 0.2s, you had to get a test 3 days before. So 72 hours you had to produce a negative COVID test. But I know for like the point pro races and world tour races, you get a test 6 days out and then 3 days out as well. And then depending on how long the tour is or races, you would get tests throughout. And I know the UCI are bringing in new rules around like vaccinations and stuff, who can race where. I see France has just brought in that professionals have to race. They have to be vaccinated to race.
Yeah.
So, there'll definitely be a few riders who can't race.
Any in your team that have been against it?
It's interesting. You get a few different voices on it, but I mean, I think most of our team are vaccinated. They really push for us to be vaccinated, and keep it up to date. So yeah, I mean,
I actually thought that the UCI would just say from the gun that all riders must have to be vaccinated. Like we have to have our drops and cross, those types of things.
Yeah,
I just
that's
thought
right.
I just thought it would be standard.
I guess one of the problems they've maybe had, I don't know, but maybe one of the things is, of course, you're racing in different countries, and every country's got its own different rules. So I guess, is the UCI powerful enough to actually make that mandate across everything? Well, I guess it looks like they are.
Yeah.
So, but you couldn't, I guess, rely on each country you go to. I don't know. It's tricky, but hopefully it's not going to stop bike racing this year.
Yeah, there's good.
It's not a good start though.
Yeah, no. I want to bring a point up later on when we get into your future and your team. But your team, I had a conversation a while ago, was signed up to they're signed up to something so the whole team can't do. Oh, it's like not WADA.
MPCC.
Yeah, so we'll get into that later on. It's quite cool. Like that. There's a few teams that are signed up to it, and there's some that aren't.
Okay, you can tell us more about that.
Later
shortly.
On. Yeah.
Well, let's keep over the other side of the world, pro tour riding, the Tour of Dubai. Who's been following the Tour of Dubai? There's a bit of controversy there in the gravel section. I see.
Tour of Dubai. You mean Saudi Arabia?
Saudi Arabia. Yeah.
So who won the first stage? The sprinter that's left Lotto that's gone to Bike Exchange. Is it?
No. So Caleb Ewan won the first stage.
Oh,
first one.
No, just the first one.
Oh,
the first sprint stage.
But Dylan's won the whole thing, hasn't he?
No,
is it?
So Dylan won last night's stage. So it finished last night. Dylan took that stage with Bike Exchange, which is probably really good for them because they have Alula as a sponsor now. Which is like the Saudi Arabian place, the place in Saudi where that final stage was.
Yeah.
Well, I was actually thinking that it was quite good that how do you say his last name? Wagon, however you say it, that he actually won because when you take a new signing. And he's come from Jumbo Visma, a pretty strong team where he had quite a lot of success and was, had a lot of team around him. And then you go to a whole new team and your first race out. Well, we're falling apart. You're going to have to do something.
But the thing is, he on Lotto, he was kind of stuck for tours. I'll fix that, Loza. It's up there. But he was stuck because he was a sprinter and they're going for, he wants to do Tour de France, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
So then he can't make the climbing squad for those types of things.
Oh, but a in-house podcast equipment fixing here. Reon's the master with the knife. Might just have to hold it, maybe. But he's cyclist arms. You got any strength in those?
Not really.
What else you got for us?
Lots on the list here. Egan Burnell, should we talk about him? That was a bit of a disaster.
Do you know, we should talk about this and we'll get to Loza, but do you know, when me and Rich were involved with, he still is, but there's a few cycling teams, there was so many, when I first started, so many people were crashing down Belier, Riccarton Road, motor pacing on TT bikes, doing 40 k's an hour inside the avs, and no shit. And some people might not like this, but in our contracts we had all these young junior riders. We're like, guys, we don't actually want you racing, motor pacing behind cars in the 4 avs, and we don't want you going over 30. Chill out and be safe. And we were trying to eliminate the crashes that happen in the 4 av when they get G'd up behind cars, just for the young cyclists to like, so they don't not bloody hurting themselves. Like, I think there was
the 4 avs you're talking about in Christchurch, New Zealand
in Christchurch, yeah, because like you get excited when you got cars around. It's just we were trying to calm them down. And then there's been all these crashes lately on TT bikes, Egan Burnal, someone else, you know, and it's like.
So Egan's crash was back of a bus, wasn't it?
Parked bus, I believe,
bus
in Colombia. Yeah.
And, you know, that's been like 20 fractures or something. I think he's had 2 spinal surgeries. I see just in the latest update that he's now out of intensive care. They've moved him out of intensive care, but he is so what do you have? Fractured vertebrae, right femur, right patella, ribs.
How do you come back?
Chest trauma, punctured lungs. That guy's got. Will he come back?
I mean,
is that the $1 million question?
Yeah,
is it?
Everyone will have their fingers crossed. I think the whole cycling community will really want to be behind him. Yeah. It's a terrible crash, and the extent of his damages is unbelievable, really.
You look at Froome, Loza. Like he had that crash. He's had a couple, but he'd done that, snapped his femur, you know. And then look at him. He's tried to come back, and obviously he can ride his bike better than most New Zealanders, of course. But he's never even sniffed of a fraction of what he was. So it's like Burnal, like you're just like that's a lot to come back from. One broken bone in the leg is quite hard to come back from, and he's got a list of things, you know. So, I mean, obviously, first, I love how this microphone's broken.
Yeah, it's got a mind of its own.
Yeah, it's got a mind of its own. But I don't see him coming back, and I'm not trying to be negative. Yeah, I hope the guy does. Like,
but he's a long way from back, right? Like he's, you know, and you're out there.
Yeah,
you're out the gate for a year or 2 years or something. And then, you know, honestly.
And he's missing all the depth and the back-to-back tours that everyone else is in his competition are getting, and he's having I mean, he might heal up, and it's an amazing thing for him. Like, people come back stronger from rest, of course, 100%, and that's what we hope. But like, it's a lot of broken bones.
Lance come back from cancer pretty well.
He did. He did.
All right, we'll move on from that. Did anybody watch the Cyclocross World Champs? Oh, come on, what?
But I did. Oh, no, hold on. I seen the junior, mate. There was like 3 Dutch girls in the front ripping the legs off. There was 3 Dutch, and there was one. Where's Angie Schleck from?
Oh,
Luxembourg.
And there was a French girl, and then anyway.
So I mean, my pick. This was obviously held in America.
I didn't even know that.
And on a purpose-built track, obviously.
Yeah.
But they tested this track back in October or something, I think, and they actually had some proper weather then, and the thing was sort of, you know, a cyclocross track. This track had
a road race.
It was dry, it was dusty, it was fast.
You
know, there was a set of stairs that they had to run up, and actually that's pretty impressive if you see the likes of Pidcock and that running up those stairs. That's pretty.
Yeah, it was crazy to see Tom run up those stairs like that. It was like he's in a running race.
The cadence was amazing, wasn't it? Of just
very impressive.
And
hey, Pidcock's brother's on your team, isn't he?
Yeah, Joe's on my team.
Oh, right.
Work it out. See how close we are to start.
Hey, look at that.
Oh,
yeah. We have the start.
It's a good point. But you know, like you when I tried to do cyclocross here, man, I'd jump over thing and my legs were gone.
Yeah.
Like you have to really to train for that. You got to do the unclipping, running, getting back on, saving seconds, saving energy.
The whole multi-sport thing of being able to go. Use your different muscles without them cramping each time you go to get off and use them sort of thing. The women's race was actually probably the better of the finishes with Lucinda Brand and Mariana Voss. And they basically came to a track stand on the last lap. Like they come round and they still had a section to go, but they pretty much came to a track stand and then away they went. And Mariana Voss managed to get up, come around the outside of Brand, win that for her 8th World Cyclocross Championship.
And see, watching that race there, that last finishing straight was like a road race because you're sitting on a teammate ripping it, going for the win, and she sat on with that win, sat on, and come past. Which just goes to show like it was quite a fast course, you know.
And of course, the men's, it was missing Van der Poel, Van Aert.
Yeah.
So it was not taking anything away from Pidcock for winning that, but he did just need to play strategically like he did, play the Belgians out.
Yeah, he was still racing against 4 or 5 Belgians who were hitting him very hard at the start.
But he did buy his time well, and I think he did race that quite successfully. Something about that, though, his Pinarello that he was on.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. Have you seen that about the Pinarello and what they custom built that thing?
Pretty badass.
Yeah.
So the amount of support he gets from like Ineos and Pinarello is crazy. Watching that video on YouTube with the way they designed that frame specifically for him.
Yeah.
And
so they obviously they had a what do they call it? The cross-seater or something. So they made the front triangle bigger so that he could get his arm through quicker.
No shit.
And then if you look at the top tube, it's got a hump in it, so that it actually sits on the shoulder when it goes in. It goes in and locates on his shoulder.
That is awesome.
So they basically threw that together in a matter of months, basically.
How good is that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, eh? Like,
it really is amazing.
Yeah,
especially I mean the caliber of rider that Tom is, and the way Ineos look after him, especially like with the mountain bike stuff as well. Watching, he's got his own camper van for those races,
and on that mountain bike. So they've done this. So how amazing! So Pinarello has put the energy and made the bike, and now they've got a world champion on their first cross bike, right? Their first proper one, but he was riding a BM. They were doing testing on the BMCA as well to black in that. So I wonder if they're now going to do the bad boy mountain bike for him.
Yeah,
it should be surely.
Well. Pinarello have made a mountain bike before, haven't they? Is it not like way back they made one?
I'm not sure, mate. Can't afford it. Those things are millions.
But it really did go to show the belief that the team have in him and the power of, I guess, Ineos and their relationship with Pinarello and things.
What do you reckon the bonus is to become a world champion on Ineos? What's your rough estimate, Loza? 50, 100 grand?
Yeah.
Surely,
It'll be very, very high, I'd say.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see though whether, I mean, I suppose he'll go back next year, whatever. He's switching straight to road now, though, isn't he? He's going straight back into the road scheme now. So I don't know, is that a good thing or not that he's dropping in and out? That you just like drop out, take the title and down the road you go. I don't know.
Cyclocross season's pretty much over now.
It is, and I suppose if Van Aert or Van der Poel had won it, the same thing was going to happen, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
The only thing is that Pidcock has raced cross for the last 4 or 5 years anyway, hasn't he? So
Van Aert, he didn't even go to the World Champs to prepare for the road season. So
big road season coming then, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. Tour de France, mate.
Yeah.
Boom.
Well, that is the news of the world. A few things going on, unless anybody else got something they'd like to table.
No.
Well, we might as well get to what we came for.
Boom. What's going on?
Laurence Pithie, again, thank you so much for joining us before you do fly out to join. Now, let's run us through the full name of your team.
Yeah, pronounce it.
L'Equipe-Groupama-fdj Continental.
Holy shit.
Groupama Français du Jour.
Français du Jour. Is that what the FDJ is it?
Yeah.
Français du Jour.
It's a French lottery system, like French lottery.
Okay. So, a well-backed team?
Yeah, very well backed. 2 title sponsors with Groupama and FDJ that put the money into it. The big money. So yeah, it's the development team for the Groupama FDJ World Tour. So the team I'm in's built with 13 under 23 riders, ranging from 18 to 22 years old. And this year, there's 5 French riders, 2 Kiwis, an Australian, Estonian, Italian, and 3 British riders.
And does the majority of those riders speak English or have a good understanding, or are you having to learn French? Or
this year, I mean, with the 8 internationals, they all speak English very well.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Some of the French riders, aren't like super
fluent,
but enough to understand and have a pretty good conversation.
On the road in the middle of the bunch.
Yeah.
Or do you just find somebody else in the bunch that can translate for you? Go, hey, can you go and tell our rider?
It's real interesting, Like years ago, they would never have a non-French rider, right? Like they obviously they've had a cut, but it's like I'm pretty sure they were a French team, And they were like more just Tour de France and, just climbing. But now they've kind of opened the bag over the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. I'm probably getting this slightly wrong, but to bring in all these, different countries in, to kind of change the view on things, It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, the continental team is very international.
Yeah.
The French team's still French, like with its roots and heritage.
Yeah.
Still a lot of French riders. Like there's some French guys that have been on the team for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, since like its
Wicked.
inception. A couple retired last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it still does have a deep French heritage and background.
And how close does the development team work with the main team? Like, how are you quite separate, or are you actually involved along the way, or training camps? And
it is really involved. Like the development team and World Tour team intertwine quite a lot. So on the development team, we get a lot of opportunities to race with the World Tour guys. I mean, I raced a couple times last year.
Yeah,
and this guy's already at Valencia. One of my teammates, he's racing with the World Tour team already. So yeah, we do intertwine a lot. My final race last year, Paris Tours, we were staying at the same hotel as the World Tour team, which was really cool. We had like the team bus that we could go to after the race.
Wow.
We're able to watch their race on the TV in the team bus with Mark Madio, who's a big boss, which was pretty cool.
Wicked.
And Arnaud Demar actually won that race, so it was really
really
cool to see it animated.
What happens on the bus then? Is it like off the hook, or?
Yeah, it is pretty cool. It's awesome. Like the setup in those team buses, you don't really know. Like you see from the outside, and this year was the first time I'd been in one, but it's pretty amazing.
So pretty wicked culture. Like bringing in the younger riders and watching that the World Tour pros and get them to finish, and that's all part of the building like an amazing positive vibe and feeling that is going to transfer across the road, isn't it?
Exactly. Like they're really supportive of us and our development, and with the development team. I mean, last year I think we put 5 riders into the World Tour.
Wow.
Only 1 into Groupama-FDJs.
And is that the Ruben?
No, so that was Lewis Askey.
Okay.
Yeah, Ruben signed for 2023 already with the World Tour. But
wow.
He'll count as this year's
intake. Holy hell. And I guess Angus, I think before we go any forward into this, because mate, this is pretty awesome. I reckon what would be pretty good if we go backwards. If we just reverse and forget where you are now, which we're going to get into, bro. But it'd be really cool for us and I guess for listeners to talk about like as a young person, as a young athlete, and me personally, I know you've done lots of sports. I know your mum and dad are very supportive of you of doing all sorts of sports like triathlon, duathlon, cross country running. Indeed. You've got national titles, and it'd be good for listeners.
Well, don't you tell the story?
No, I know. But it'd be cool to go back and hear a little about Cobham Intermediate, where you went. There's that sports academy there, and the role you play there, and how that influenced you, and maybe it's kind of stuff like that. So. If you're comfortable with telling us how how you went through all the sports, and I don't know, what do you think, Angus?
I think we should just sit back here, Reon, and let the man go.
Yeah. So So how did it all start?
How did it all start?
Yeah.
I guess I've always been quite a sporty kid.
Yeah.
Lots of energy. Always wanting to do everything.
Awesome.
And I guess it was a bit of a way for my parents to let me expend some of that energy, so I'm not rowdy around the home.
Yeah. Get outside and play cricket, boy.
Yeah. So I probably grew up. It was a matter of not what sports I played. It was probably what sports I didn't do.
Yeah, awesome.
But yeah, growing up, I guess I had a real passion for running, and that was my main thing. And then I played football, basketball, all the different sports. Played net. I had a wee stint at netball and intermediate.
Okay, wait, pause, bro. I tried to get this girl Jasmine O'Hare. She was played centre for my team in Bromley School, and I joined the girls netball team. I was a goal shoot just to try and get Jasmine. Never kissed her. Carry on.
You're a bit of a player.
Bit of a player, right?
You didn't score that goal, did you?
No, I didn't score that goal. Okay, and
couldn't steal that heart.
No, that's right. Broke mine. So okay.
Feel a bit sorry for her, really.
Yeah, I know. What about swimming? Do you get into swimming?
No, I did swimming lessons when I was younger, but it was never a strong point.
Water polo?
Yeah, I did play water polo.
I knew it. He's got the water polo look.
Yeah, water polo was really fun.
Yeah.
Just in the evenings for Cobham Intermediate, I'd play.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't a very good swimmer, but it's an aggressive sport.
Yeah,
And,
gotcha.
Be good for the lung capacity, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, true.
But I could not swim to save my life, really.
So back then, bro, as like, so what age you kind of at Cobham? How old are you there?
11 and 12.
So 11 and 12. Did you like? Can you remember having like posters on your wall of like sports stars, or dreaming you want to go to the Olympics for anything, or being on a professional, whatever it was? Do you have any kind of drive like that, or just you love sport in general?
I just love sport, playing sport. I love the competition, the competitive side of it. I love to win, like lots of athletes.
Yeah.
And that's what really motivated me and drove me.
Cool.
Yeah, Cobham Intermediate was like a really good time to do everything and see what I loved. And that's where I was in the sports academy when it first started at Cobham Intermediate, and I think it's still running with Carly Lawton. She was really enthusiastic about helping young kids like achieve their sporting goals. So there was probably about 20 kids or so in that sports academy, all from different sports, who excelled and wanted to learn. And Carly brought in multitude of people. We had Kat Darry, who was the All Blacks nutritionalist. I'm not too sure if she still does that. Did lots of little seminars. I mean, you've come in and spoken to the kids there about your story, which was really awesome. But that just motivated me and got me more involved in sport around the school, which was really cool. It wasn't until further on down the track at high school where I started to really focus on one sport or just a couple. Drop the team sports a little bit and just focus fully on cross country. Then that's where I got into cycling as well.
Gotcha. So going that's awesome. Going back to Cobham, did you win any like national titles or big school things, or like anything kind of major that stood out and back in that kind of Cobham area?
I won a few running races. I had there was a guy called Will Taylor who I was best friends with back then, and still friends with now. We had a really, really big like competitive running background with each other. And we do like the interregional cross country.
Cool.
Travel with the like interprovincial team.
Working.
But you don't really get the national level at intermediate. It's when you go into high school. That all.
Gotcha.
I heard you've won a few running races in your time too, Reon. The difference was Reon was running for his life.
Running from the 5-0, gotta go. If you're rolling with a Nolan, it's got to be stolen.
I love that.
It was the same back in the day. Okay, so when did you really start? So you said like you got moved away from the team aspect and you got into the running. So when did your kind of national title start coming in, kind of that cross country running thing?
So that would have been first year of high school in year 9.
And what school was that?
Christchurch Boys High.
Christchurch Boys High,
yeah. So I went to Christchurch Boys High, and I was running and cycling were my two big things then. I got in a knee injury in 2014, 2015. And that's where I couldn't really run the way I wanted to. So that's where I picked up the bike, because Campbell and Dad both were riding. So that gave me a little chance to start riding, and I didn't really enjoy it at the start. I just did it for like a bit of cross training.
So you're not one of these kids that had seen cycling on the television or like that and went, I want to be one of those. I want to be a pro cyclist. It's just sort of happened.
No, it just because of Dad and Campbell, really.
Working.
Luckily, I got Campbell out of running. When I started beating him, he decided to move over to cycling.
Put him in the gutter.
Put him in the gutter, mate. Put him in the gutter. Work it. And so can you run us through, like, and I'm asking you, so you're not trying to be unhumble. What have you won in terms of titles and anything to do with running? Can you run us through like some stuff that you achieved or you're quite proud of?
I mean, 2016 was probably my glory days for running. I won the like high school national cross country champs.
Work it.
In year 9.
Over what distance is that?
That was a 3K race.
So just full gas from the start.
So it came down to me and Finn Seeds. It was up in Rotorua.
Work it.
So the national champs, and there were hundreds of boys on that start line.
Yeah, really.
What's your 3K time then for cross country? Were you running 3.5 minute Ks? Or?
Yeah, just over 3-minute Ks back then.
Oh, sweet.
And
Yeah.
did you have any like and how old were you then? What was your age then?
I would have been 13.
13. So no like official coaching, structured running. Were you like
No,
who was helping your dad doing intervals or just little things?
Dad a little bit. I didn't really train.
Yeah.
I was still doing like other sports a
Cool.
little bit on the side.
Yeah.
Which kept me fit. But Chris Todd was working at Boys High then.
Yeah.
And she was really into it, and we'd do the morning trainings.
Cool.
My training would be I maybe ride a couple times a week.
Yeah.
The most important part of the week would be the Tuesday night time trials.
Yeah.
I'd ride out to Thai Tap with Dad and
Work it.
do the old 8K.
Yeah. Awesome.
Would take me 17, 18 minutes at the
Yeah.
start.
Work it.
And then Dad would have to push me home because I basically couldn't turn my
great.
legs back
That's
then.
awesome, mate.
Yeah.
That's why I love Thai Tap, eh? They've got the 8K course for young kids, and
Yep.
the dad will go and do that, or they do it. Yeah, that's awesome to hear that actually, Lawrence. It's bloody
Yeah.
epic, bloody
What-
amazing.
When did you last do one?
No, I want to get it, but I'm taking Liam down to BMX on Tuesday night.
Oh.
I want to get back into it.
Excuses.
No. But
He's
hey,
got a whole book of them,
yeah.
Lawrence.
Hey,
He's got a whole book
have
of
you
them.
seen his times on him and Vinca been teeing off a little down there? Right, it's pretty awesome down there. Okay, so going and then so you get an injury, get on the bike.
Yeah.
Start doing a little bit of riding. You're watching Campbell getting involved in cycling. Is
Yep.
this the time where Campbell started getting involved with teams, or he was just riding?
No, he was just riding back then.
Just
he was
riding.
still quite young.
And your dad's rode his bike for his whole life, type
Yeah.
of thing.
Dad's always been an avid and keen cyclist.
Did he have that green trick then, or was that come later on?
I think that came a little bit later on.
Drop my headphones. All right, sweet. And then tell us what happened from there, mate.
Running, cycling,
Yeah.
2016, the glory days.
Yeah.
Did the Triathlon Nationals, Duathlon Nationals.
How'd you go on those?
Yeah, I won both those races.
But you just said before you can't swim.
Yeah.
So how did
Yeah.
you get through a triathlon?
Yeah, so that's a really good story actually.
Oh, we love a good story.
I
Yeah,
think it was
yeah.
a 200-meter swim, maybe
Uh-huh.
even shorter.
In a pool.
No, it was down in Queenstown,
Oh.
Jack's Point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wicked.
in like beginning of winter, so it was really
Oh.
cold. Hadn't been doing much swimming. Dad been trying to get me in the pool, but I can't really stand watching a black line for that long. So came out of the swim 2.5 minutes down. I was practically last. I remember stumbling into the marshal, and she's just telling me the race is over, and I'm trying to get to my bike.
That is so good.
Yeah, and it was around the little estate, so it was like a 13K bike ride.
Yeah.
And I managed to pull back the 2.5 minutes in that bike, and then run away on the run, which is cool.
Wow, it's interesting, because a lot of people at that age, they're coming last out of the pool that's it, and listen to then you got the marshal saying, "Hey, it's over," kind of thing. But then to have that kind of fight, not to give up, and to have something like the bull to chase, and to catch people slowly, and then to become a national champion that shows something from a young age. That mentality is pretty important. It's
Did
pretty
you
amazing.
know you were going, like, I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
you're an absolute natural talent, clearly. But did you know with the competition there that that 2.5 minutes didn't matter? Did you know you were going to get them back on the bike?
I
back
had
in the
no
run?
idea how
Right.
far ahead they were, to be
Yeah,
honest.
Right,
wow.
I was just trying to get through the swim and then take it
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did the marshal come and say anything afterwards?
No.
Did
I
you
don't
go
think
and
so.
tell her?
Yeah. Work it.
Definitely not.
Insane. Okay, and then so bring us to so you got an injury in the knee, and then you kind of went for a few more bike rides, and you're
Yeah.
at Boys High at the stage.
Yep.
And you're seeing they've got a pretty good school structure there, like as in cycling. They've got a group of boys that train older guys.
Yeah,
You know?
Gary McNaughton's really enthusiastic,
Yeah.
which is what you need in that school scene.
100%.
And we had some great riders at Christchurch Boys High.
Yeah. Who was so when at that age? Who were the kind of the A graders then you were kind of looking up to? Can you remember that?
It would have been like Hugo Jones,
Yeah.
Max Jones.
Yeah.
Those sorts of guys
Yeah,
were, I think they were year 13, year
Yeah.
12 and 13 when
Yeah.
I was year 9.
Yeah, gotcha. Sweet.
So I started riding and doing that.
So track hasn't even come into play yet.
No, so I was doing track,
Yeah.
doing like the development program and dabbling in it in under 15.
Yeah.
I never went to nationals the first year I started track, but
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
2016 I went to track nationals.
Yeah.
So
How'd you go there for that? You won it?
There's multiple races.
Yeah, got
Yeah, it's me and myself and Mitchell Fitzsimmons back then were always battling out in those.
And that's the one who signed to
track races.
Black Spoke.
Black
Yeah,
Spoke.
yeah. Wow, working.
So we've always had a good feud.
Yeah,
You
wow.
always, growing up, you always have those little feuds with people in the racing. And yeah, me and Mitchell, I mean, we're great mates. We spent New Year's together this year.
Yeah, working.
So yeah,
it's actually cool to have like challenges. Like, so imagine if you weren't, because you're learning so much when you're fighting and battling each other. The start line finished, getting away, you know, it's all that type of thing. So
well, that's where
important.
the tactical thinking starts to kick in, isn't it? Because
100%.
I've got to find that edge somewhere away. But like you say, you've obviously had New Year's with your great mates. So memories, those battles, especially if they're an all year long one or multiple years or whatever, you know, they just build memories that are there forever. Yeah.
What was is there any like a noticeable changeover from like the running scene to cycling scene? Like I felt like cycling was quite up itself, you know, looking outwardly, you know, like that type of thing. But once I got into it, I was like, it's actually pretty cool. Obviously it's quite clicky and you kind of teams and this and that, but was there a difference between, because I find mountain biking is very relaxed and open and not secretive, but road cycling still kind of is? Was there from the whole running, any shift that you noticed? Or
I mean, I was quite young back then, so I probably wouldn't pick up on that sort of stuff, but I'm sure lots of people would. Yeah. And if I was doing it now, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would pick up, but back then I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, cool. Sweet. And I guess you did have the boys high cycling team around you and stuff like that, having role models around you, big team type of thing. Sweet. So take us, what happened from there, bro? Like how did you from what I remember, that's when this is around the area where I started meeting your brother Campbell, right? Around there, doing heaps of training and riding. And there's everyone in the bunch back then, Angus, it was always like, oh, if Laurence would get into this, if Laurence would come out, you should see how much he can beat Campbell. And I was thinking, God, his younger brother can beat Campbell. Campbell was pretty good. He's always had this little talent type of thing. So that was like this little, like lingering rumors that were going around, little bunches, and you know, people chatting, talking crap and stuff. And then what I remember is Campbell started getting better, and you were still floating around doing your thing, and dabbling in, but more so track. Am I right to say that?
Yeah, I mean, Campbell and myself were very different riders.
Yeah.
And we still are. Like, I was always a bigger boy.
Yeah.
A little bit more power.
Yeah.
Whereas he was more of the little mountain goat.
Yeah.
But that's why I really got into track and pursued that. And my cycling really took like a big turn when I started getting coached by Andrew Williams.
Yeah. And so was that running boys high school, and did you make a decision with your parents that, hey, I need a coach to go forward? Did you go down the track and you see Andrew? How did that relationship kind of build up?
We'd been speaking to Andrew about getting coached, and I was still running then. It was at the end of 2016.
Working.
And I kind of had to make the decision to stop running or stop training for running. I could still do like the races, but stop training fully, because I was so young. There was a risk of overtraining if I was being coached for cycling and then also running. Yeah. And we weren't really willing to take that risk at that age. Yeah. So I did have to sort of ease back on the running a little bit. Still did like nationals the next year in Christchurch in 2017.
Did you win that?
Cool. No, I was I think I was seventh. Seventh or eighth. A guy called Liam Back won it that year, who's like on the USA scene now, running over there, which is cool. Cool to see guys that you've raced against, like competing on the world
100%.
stage.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so
made a decision to maybe getting a cut and maybe focusing more on cycling track.
Yeah, so that's where I started completely focusing on cycling, training six times a week, rest day on a Monday, and getting that rigid program from Andrew and getting into a routine with it all. Yeah. And
did you meet up with Andrew? So did Andrew, obviously you knew the family, knew your potential, you know, those types of things. Did you sit down and set goals, you know, and did you set back then were you like, oh, I want to go to Junior World Champs? Was it that type of thing? Or did you know how good you potentially were back then? Or,
I mean, I knew I had some talent in the sport and I really enjoyed it at that stage. And I love the competitive side of it. So I really wanted to take it seriously. Yeah. And you'd see guys like Campbell Stewart, like excelling. I think the year he won track junior worlds, I was yeah, like Campbell Short was like a huge idol of mine, seeing him win the Rainbow Bands.
Wow.
And I wanted to do that
Wow.
and go to Track Worlds, and Andrew supported me 100%, and my parents both supported me.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, I mean, Andrew was an amazing coach.
Yeah.
And really guided me and helped me
Yeah.
to be where I am today.
And you know what? I'll just bring this up as well. So what I remember is like a lot of cycling though, like they'll see a good rider, Angus, and they're like, oh, what trainings? They'll hear what he's doing, and then like, oh, we've all got to do his training, what he's doing. Oh, he's doing big SE efforts. I've got a big chain ring on. So, and the motion of the cyclist still follow the leader. You know, I'm not saying this in a negative way, but what I notice is that Andrew and Laurence stayed in their own lane and were focused. And what I remember is Andrew was always keeping you high cadence, from a very young age. No big gears, because the World Tour riders are doing this and following this and this. But Laurence was doing races and with high cadence, and he was going in races where he was going to lose because he had guys going, older people with bigger gear, but you had to adapt to the high cadence because you were only a junior rider, right? Yeah. So do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, those are the secrets, Reon.
Oh, I know. Oh, sorry. No, you don't have to go.
I can edit that bit.
It's kind of common knowledge, but it was kind of like you could see Andrew's plan with Laurence in motion, where Laurence wasn't winning this race. This is when he was younger, but you've seen this massive gear from these younger guys and adults, but you've seen Laurence fighting and getting thirds, fourths, seconds, and sometimes winning with high cadence at 120 plus or whatever it was in the sprint, really having to fight for that, which is the cadence he would have to have at Junior Worlds. All that types of stuff,
Yeah. So Andrew really held me back as a young up and comer. He didn't want to push me too hard too early. We'd always go for quality over quantity. I mean, there were guys my age doing huge amounts of training, way more than I was back then. And Andrew and I always had like a clear goal and clear focus, and track nationals was my focus for many years. So we'd be, like you said, we'd be racing at the track down at Denton, the local racing on tiny gears. Just really trying to simulate the cadence because of the restrictions with junior gearing. You can only ride like a 90-inch gear or a 7-meter rollout when you're under 15 or 661. And then when you're under 17, 7 meters.
And the others that were there that obviously didn't know what you guys were up to, were they questioning you? Were they going, well, why don't you get a bigger gear, bro? Or did anyone ever say anything? Or
oh yeah, you'd always have people,
giving their opinion.
There's always haters.
It's their opinion, isn't it, of how you should be doing it? But obviously, they didn't know what was going on in the background. So how did you handle that when someone would try and give you their advice or tell you that Andrew wasn't doing it right or whatever? Especially
you being a winner, a fighter and competitive and not winning, knowing if I had a big, but it's that long-term goal and the belief in your whole team behind you.
Of course, although I would have loved to be winning that racing, we knew what the big goal was, and I had complete trust in Andrew and his coaching and his philosophies. And that's why we worked really well together.
100%.
I mean, racing on those small gears really, it taught me how to race as well, because the way I used to race was just attack. And I still love to do that. But it sort of brought tactics into it because I had to be smarter with the way I raced because I was on the smaller gears. So I'd have to sort of sit in a little bit more, time my run right.
Work it.
But I was always the main goal. We had a plan. We'd stick to it. I mean, we'd adapt if we needed to. But I mean, the results showed when we got to nationals, we were in top condition, and
wow.
And that simulations and the training really paid off.
And when did you? Obviously, you sat down, made plans, and stuck to the plans. Training, started doing all this racing, winning national titles in New Zealand. We could speak for hours on this, but how many national titles have you won just in the junior thing there?
Oh,
is it over 5? Is it over 10?
I know, 4? Overall national titles within. That was with my running national titles as well, and triathlon, duathlon. I've won 48 since 2016.
Fucking jet. That's
Yeah.
excuse my language. That 48 national titles. That's unreal, isn't it? It's unreal. Like that is, man. Can you imagine what's hold? You have to like drill, get some big to hold the medals up.
Well, of course, now they get harder as you're in the elite
Yeah,
thing.
of course.
Everything gets harder
Yeah.
to get to that elusive 50. I don't know two
Wow.
things. One, what is the actual record for somebody holding national title? Does anyone know that? Probably not. I wonder
It's
what
pretty close.
it must be somewhere.
Yeah.
And two, as we talk about, it gets harder. Let's just really quickly, the criterium race, the national crit race this year.
Yep.
That was pretty close. Like,
You won it before, haven't you?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
won it back in
correct.
2019.
Yeah.
So were you obviously you were there to win, right? Like, don't get me wrong, you were there to win.
Always.
Did it go your way, or were you disappointed, or did the better man win?
Well, the way I raced nationals, I had to race quite tactically and following all the Black Spoke riders when I'm by myself and they have 6 guys.
Yeah.
You've got teams like Black Spoke, St. George.
Yeah.
Shane was flying solo as well. So it was cool to see him take out the win.
Yeah.
Did you work with him though? Were you two working together? Sort of. Did you have like a semi-truce in the early times?
Yeah, we have a truce.
Yeah.
You kind of have to when you're against
that's
a team of
right.
6 who are all strong. Like you had Fuchs out there for over 20 minutes. Yeah, then you had the Tom Sexton attack first. He went away with the little mountain biker. Like it's just non-stop. And what I've seen, Laurence, is how those races won. As soon as that gap's gone, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over, and especially on that small course. And what I watched on YouTube is actually wicked viewing actually. But every time this dangerous thing went, basically every move you had to go. Well, as soon as Shane went, obviously you went.
Yep.
You're always there. So you obviously had a good plan going, and you had to be there.
Yeah. I mean, the last 2 years on that course, it's been won by a breakaway.
Yeah.
This year was the first year it's come down to like a bunch sprint.
Yeah.
So I knew I wanted to be in the move. And it's so easy in a criterium for someone back in the bunch to just go, flick the elbow and Nolan roll through and then you're gone.
Yeah.
So my plan was to just follow all the moves. It did definitely zap my legs for that final sprint.
Yeah.
Didn't have that top end.
How many watts did you pull on that final sprint?
Oh, I'm not too sure. Probably around 1,200, I'd say.
Yeah, but he would have done about probably, I don't know, 30 to 50,000 watt spikes.
Yeah.
And then like it's full gas.
That's right.
Like,
yeah, that's the risk I was willing to take, though. I knew I wasn't willing to
let it go,
to lose the race, whereas some of those other guys, by not following those moves, were, which is fine.
Yeah, everyone's got their own tactics.
That's the way I race, and I love to race from the front and aggressively.
Yeah.
And
work
had one of those moves gone, I
Yeah.
would have been pretty confident in being able to.
That's right.
To take that sprint.
And you notice he was in a few little moves there that don't get away, and then straight away. But
shut down.
It's so hard being like a rider like Laurence or Archibald. As soon as you attack,
you mark, don't you?
Everyone's like, and everyone just got to go. And then it's like that. Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, they all knew they couldn't afford him to go.
No. And then if Laurence did get away with like a black spoke or whatever, he's going to pump them.
Yeah.
So they're not going to roll. So then it's like, what do? You carry them away? It's like, it's pretty hard, eh? It's pretty hard.
We digressed there a bit. So should we wind the clock back and carry on with the Laurence Pithie story?
Let's go back. We're actually where I forgot. So you've got your coach and you've got your tactic. You're
spinning like buggery.
Now you weren't on any team straight away, were you? Just rolling solo, and then you met Andrew, training up, started getting good. Was Skoda the first team that you're on?
Yep. So Team Skoda Racing formally.
Yeah.
And it moved into Team Skoda Frusio.
Yeah.
And now it's iLab.
Yeah.
iLab Frusio.
Yeah. And what about that? Was the high performance centre here? Was Track New Zealand involved in? Were they emailing you?
No, not at all, really, back then.
Yeah. And I tell you what, Angus, this is what guts me, because I remember hearing about all this young guys' success, and then parents are having to pay. It's. Yep. I mean, that's life, but as well. And I remember back then going, if I was in Cycling Z or anyone, I would be seeing this talent. So 48 national titles across the board, and you'd be trying to support hard out. That's my view anyway. You know what I mean? Like, so then you got a team like Skoda coming along and saying, "Hey, did he inbox you?"
Yeah. So Brad Tilby, I formed a bit of a relationship with him. He ran. It was Nature Valley.
That's right. I rode
originally.
For Nature, yeah, I rode for them. Yeah.
So I mean, you just have to look at the riders that had raced on that team and progressed.
Yeah.
What we were focused on back then was my development and the pathway to move up the ranks and get on a big European team, and a team like Team Skoda Fruscio, that they'd proven. And it's been the same the whole way through the pathway and development, looking for that next stepping stone.
Yeah.
Went from Team Skoda Fruscio onto Groupama-fdj.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is really look at the history of that team. Guys like Rob Stannard, Campbell Stewart.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many.
Corbin Strong.
Yeah, Corbin, Corbin, Bailey, Finn Fisher-Black, Keegan Hornblow, all those guys.
And there's a few more guys that have done a few races for them and gone world tour, you know, like and amongst it all as well. So
exactly.
you're looking at the facts, right? Like, wow, this is another stepping stone to.
Paddy Bevan rode for them back
Paddy
in the
Bevan
day.
did too, 100%. Okay, and so did you get approached and then you sat down with mum, dad, and Andrew and say, okay, should we use this as a stepping stone to help and be a part of this?
We looked at whether this would be the right step for me moving forward, and how they'd be able to support me in the races that we're doing. Be able to do. I mean, it turned out to be great. We had the quarter shorts series back then. I was able to learn how to race as a team. And the biggest race I went to with them would have been the Oceana Champs in Tasmania. And
how'd you go
2019.
You go right there?
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, the team performed amazingly. Finn won the time trial when I came second.
Wow.
And we had and then Xander White was third in that TT, so it was a full Kiwi podium, which was cool.
Yeah, you know, I actually remember this time. I remember we kind of took over the Totopos team at the time, and I remember Campbell, Richard, there's a few of us. We jumped over to Totopos actually, and we had a pretty good setup there, from it's an awesome setup at Totopos. And I was like, man, I was really hoping, Angus, to get Laurence on our team. You know, like it's just a local Canterbury team, you know, doing the Cold Stewart series. And there was no other step forward and no other future program. It was just really racing here. And we were doing this ride, and I was trying to get a photo. Loz, you were with us over. We're going to Diamond Harbour. And then I remembered, I was like, oh, and you kind of dropped off the wheel. And I was like, I knew then, I was like, he's been signed by Skoda. I knew it. And I was like, it's awesome. But I was kind of gutted because I've always, admired the whole family really. Yeah. But I was like, gutted. I wanted to be a part of this young man's journey. You know what I mean? And then you signed for Skoda, which was amazing and awesome. And look what it's done. So amazing choices, you know what I mean? But so that was that type of era there, right?
Yeah.
Work it. And then so still focus on the track, right?
Yeah. Track was a huge focus of mine.
Yeah.
I love racing on the track. It's so exciting and being around in the velodrome, and it's really good environment as well. You're with your mates.
What is what can you run us through some of, to date, like what the kind of where you went for that track and where you kind of stopped track, right?
So my track journey started down at Denton Park at the out in Hornby. With the development program, you have enthusiastic guys like Hamish Ferguson who run that program, and I mean, it's pulled through lots of amazing track riders over the years. Josh Scott, Olivia Podmore, Hugo, etc. And that's where I started my track journey, and each year I got a little bit better, started racing on the little gears, learning how to race, going up to nationals, trying to win. And then the highlight of my track career would be, of course, going to Junior Worlds and winning the rainbow jersey and the Omnium in Madison with Kian.
That's out the gate, isn't it?
Yeah, so that was a really cool experience, and I'm lucky the age I was able to do that, and hasn't been disrupted by COVID like it has been the last 2 years, 100%. Which was really disappointing for the juniors. I mean, my second year, where I would have been trying to defend my titles, I wasn't able to go. It was supposed to be in Egypt, which would have been a pretty wicked experience.
Yeah, wicked. You know, when you won, so would you think, is that your junior world champion in the Madison and the Omnium? So that's a collection of races, right? Put together, and at most points wins at the end type of thing. Yeah.
So the Omnium's 4 races in one day. We actually did 5 because we had to do qualifying early in the morning. You've got the scratch race, tempo race, elimination, and points race.
Wow. And when you won that, when you finally won, become a world champion. So the Omnium was first. You won that first. Was that your first?
Yeah.
Were you, what was going on then? Because for me, I'm like, you're a world champion. Were you like, fuck? Were you proud of yourself? You thinking your family, like, you know, excited?
Yeah, I was super happy, like ecstatic.
Yeah,
I was just full of joy because the team pursuit didn't go our way. I mean, we had Finn Fisher Black break his wrists a few weeks out.
Gotcha.
When we were racing up in Cambridge, so that was really disappointing. We came fourth in that, and a lot of the training had been team pursuit based.
Yeah.
So I hadn't really done much bunch racing training up in Cambridge. It was all team pursuit.
Yeah.
Which wasn't ideal for the bunch racing. But luckily there was a small break in the team camp up in Cambridge where I came back to Christchurch.
Yeah.
And that's where me and Andrew went out to Denton and just nailed that bunch race, points race simulations behind the bike.
Wow.
That's another testament to Andrew and his training.
Yeah.
He knew what to do and how to get me prepared for that bunch racing in the little amount of time that we had.
Yeah, wow.
And really nail it.
You know, just to touch on Andrew here, bring it back to Tour of Southland. So my first Tour of Southland, I was riding for Versatile Homes and out of depth, didn't know what I'm doing. In the Gruppetto, there's probably, I kid you not, there's probably like 30 of us in the Gruppetto, right out the back of the arse. If you don't finish them in time card, Andrew was in my bunch. And I'm this young guy trying to, well, I was old, I was like maybe 27, 28, ripping it on the front. And he comes up to me, he's like, Reon, he's like, calm the fuck down. He's like, there's a big bunch, let them do the work. You need to calm down or you're going to be stuffed the next day. Big lesson I learned from Andrew that day. Eh? And he'll tell you that himself. He remembers me just ripping the front. Oh, we've got to finish. Calm me down. Use the bunch. Use the tactics of the race to make it through the next 5 days, you know. Okay, sweet. So junior world champion.
Yeah.
Boom. Were you like, okay, at that stage, were you like, oh, I want to go pro, I want to go to the Olympics. What's the go here?
Yeah, of course. We'd seen Finn move into Jumbo-Visma's development team.
Gotcha.
From Team Skoda Frusio as well.
Yeah.
So he was sort of paving the way for that's when the World Tour Devo teams were starting to become a big deal and a proven pathway to make it onto the top level. And I knew that's what I really wanted to do as well. And that's where I started after my Worlds results, which our goal had always been to excel on the track, but road was the main goal.
So interesting. Even from back in the day, like really
from the start, because
wicked.
Coming from New Zealand, the little country on the like road scene, and without any support from Cycling New Zealand, really, at that grassroots level, I mean, it's sort of been proven with guys like Shane Archibald, Sam Bewley, Jack Bauer, Tom Scully.
Yeah.
They all raced the track back in the day.
Yeah.
And they got recognized on the track and made a name for themselves and then switched over to the road.
Yeah, wow.
Because road's where the career is.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how you can make a living from the sport.
Wow.
So, that was our goal. And those, those track worlds results really like excelled the rate, I guess.
Yeah, gotcha.
As it going to track worlds as a first year and getting those results as a first year.
Yeah.
It's only something I could really dream of, and being able to lay it all down and get the results. And that's where I started. Finn helped me out a little bit. He got me in touch with WWV, which is a Dutch under-19 team. The Robert de Groot from Jumbo-Visma Development got in touch with me, and for 2020 my plans were to spend 3 months racing in the Netherlands on the under-19 circuit, and obviously COVID derailed that all. But I was able to go over there for a week and a half and meet a few of the staff on the team. I never got to do any racing, which was unfortunate.
So to go all the way over there for that to happen, like you're like, oh, junior world champion, going overseas to ride on the under-19 road team, get over there,
because it's
huge
shit time of your life with COVID going on that it'd be really easy to miss the opportunity completely, to miss the bus completely, because if you don't get seen riding, if you don't get to ride and don't get seen riding, you could quite easily in this time be just a nobody, right?
Yeah, well, that's where I was very lucky. I had those track results in my back pocket. I was able to get picked up by Manuel Quinziado, who's my agent now.
Yeah.
He's
an ex-rider, ex-pro rider?
Yeah, ex-pro. So he raced for 15 or 16 years.
Yeah.
He finished his career with BMC.
Yeah.
So he was on Cadell's Tour de France winning team.
So what made you get a manager, or is that what everybody does? Does everybody have one, or so this was to negotiate a contract or something, I guess?
Yeah, so it's really important to have an agent this day from my personal experiences because they have all the contacts. Myself coming out of New Zealand, little country on the other side of the world.
Yeah. Pretty naive.
Yeah, your results in New Zealand can't really get you on one of those teams.
Yep.
But having Manuel help me and look for teams, he knows all of the managers on the teams.
It's so important because it's like his manager, this dude, has been on the Tour de France.
Manuel.
Yeah, Manuel, helping Cadell even. So you imagine it's 15 years in the sport. It's probably, and then you talk about the juniors, the connections this person has with all the teams and management spots in the past and the respect that this guy has, that's key.
So what happens there? Do you pay him a commission or a yearly fee, or what? How does this all work?
Not yet. So
so he's
helping,
but he's investing in you for the future, though. Clearly,
he's investing in me and believing in me. I mean, further down the line,
of course.
And
there's no difference between the Crusaders, All Blacks, managers, team.
Correct.
100%. It's the same.
Everybody's got one.
Yeah,
nowadays.
100%.
Well, who else is on his list of people that he manages?
Oh, lots of guys. Matteo Trentin, Andrea Baggioli.
Out the gate.
Yeah, there are lots of different guys.
So, and did you? Was he just the guy that came about, or is there a selection of people? Do you actually get a choice, or
no? So he was the first one to kind of get into contact with me. He'd seen my track results and was quite impressed. He's got a couple of track riders on his that he helps already. Who
so he just must sit and watch cycling from around the world all day long.
Well, that's his job, isn't it?
Yeah, it's his job. Like, I mean, he speaks multiple languages, so he's in touch with the sport. He's traveling to plenty of races.
Yeah, he's in the heartbeat of the
Should have been a job for you, Reon.
It'd be awesome, to be honest.
You can't speak English.
Bonjour,
You can't speak English, let alone something else. That's right.
Like,
Cheer, bro.
Oh, wicked. So, okay. So, and you go over there, you get stuck, called off, you come back to New Zealand?
Yep. So, went there for a week.
Cool, bro.
Came home, did the 12 days isolation, self-isolation at home with Dad.
Wow.
We self-isolated together. I mean, that trip wouldn't have been possible without like the support from Mum and Dad as well. Like they put up the money, the
100%.
flights.
Amazing, eh?
Yeah.
Cool.
So I couldn't be here without my parents. So I really have to thank them.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, did the 12-day self-isolation. It was supposed to be 14, but then of course we went into the nationwide lockdown.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, so did that and then I was training on the indoor trainer pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Did like a little 5K block around Dad's house.
Yeah, wicked.
After my like 14 days self-isolation, of course.
Yeah.
And then just did the racing in New Zealand in 2020.
Yeah.
And that's where Manuel was looking for teams and stuff. It didn't really work out with Jumbo Visma development. They decided to invest their time and money into some local Dutch talent or Europeans that they'd seen race, because I never got to race on the road scene. So they didn't really know.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So how did you find that out? Like, did you have a feeling that you were on this team, that you potentially were going to be part of this team, and then all of a sudden you get this message to say, hey, actually, we're not going to continue?
I thought it was definitely a possibility to ride for them with Finn on the team as well, and George. I didn't really know George, but I knew Finn well, and like we'd had the contact, but it came down to Manuel in the end. He was like looking around for me when that was starting to look a little bit iffy, and that's where Groupama-fdj and Jens Butter really came through and offered me a contract.
So did you find that out at the same time though? Had you had some?
Yeah, pretty much.
So it wasn't really a whole, oh shit, I haven't made it. What am I going to do now? It was actually all quite synchronized together.
Yeah, Manuel's really good. He had everything, and that was April 2020.
Yeah.
This was for the 2021 season, which would be my first year.
Yeah.
Under 23.
Wow.
Yeah. So Manuel, we had like the video call with him. Andrew was on that. Dad and myself spoke to him, learned a little bit about him, how he told him about myself a little bit more. He knew what I was capable of the track and really thought I could do well on the road. And so did Groupama-FDJ, and they really invested in me off very little results. Like my track results at Worlds were impressive, but I'd never proven myself on the road in Europe.
Yeah.
So they were taking a big punt.
Yeah.
Signing me to their team. And I hope I was able to prove myself last year.
Bro, so where does your first Tour of Southland fit in here? Where was this? Was this after this or before?
It was with you.
Yeah,
it was 2020.
Yeah.
This was before Tour of Southland.
Yeah, so there's like, there's all these whispers. Because you didn't let it know straight away, right?
No. So it was pretty under wraps at the start.
Yeah.
So how long did you have to hold that in for?
A few months.
Was that hard? Was that like, because like, man, that must be like fucking exciting.
I remember when he told me, I was out of the race, and he's like, he's like, this, we've got a pretty healthy relationship. We've known each other for a long time. He's like a little brother type of thing, same as Campbell. And it's like, he told me and Kate, and we had Harley. It was in Timaru.
Yeah, down in Timaru.
Yeah, and Angus. Like even now, I'm getting goosebumps. Man, I was so fucking proud. I was like insane. Like just so cool to see a young Christchurch lad, so kind, caring, supportive to the community, giving back continuously. This is a huge step. You know what I mean? I was like, oh man, and you just want to go and tell the world, but you respect so pretty special, pretty special when you hear this news, like, and then you go into what a mum and dad thinking, Campbell, all his friends, the school teachers, all the types of things. Like, man, this is the wicked ticket here that's going to help this young fella like excel.
What did Campbell think?
I think he was pretty proud.
Yeah.
I think, probably the same. Like, me and Campbell were really close, and I mean, probably the same feelings I had when he was winning those stages of Southland. He probably felt for me back then as well.
Yeah, wicked, eh?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
How was that, bro? Going to seeing Campbell win those stages like Bluff Hill, Tiana.
I couldn't believe it, really.
Yeah, because we were on the same team. So I was on Campbell's first Tour of Southland team. It was pretty awesome. And then on Lawrence's first Southland team. So they were both on the team. So Campbell was there on Lawrence's first Tour of Southland. So, and then you missed that next Tour of Southland because you couldn't race, right?
Yeah.
But seeing Campbell win those two stages, how was that for you personally?
Well, I was pretty gutted I couldn't do the Tour of Southland last year.
Yeah.
I'd just come out of MIQ and I'd had a big season, so it was nice to have a break. And I just made my day, made my week. I couldn't believe it. Just I was so happy for him. And Campbell, I mean, that was really the first big race he'd won, and then give him some confidence, and then to go and win Bluff stage as well.
Bro, back it up, hey.
Out the gate, that was
because like you being his brother, he's had the worst luck.
Yeah,
he trains hard. He's very smart. He's like tries. He fights. He's a fighter like yourself, and marred by crashes and just bad luck going to the Zwift thing, not winning the Zwift thing. All those types. We're like, oh, he's gonna. This is his ticket. This is his ticket. To then win that Tiana stage solo.
Yeah,
and then to back up. Yeah, like you're so proud. You're just like, oh, it's so humbling to see him win. It's like, wow.
I mean, growing up, Tour of Southland's always been a huge race.
Yeah,
and I think Campbell's always wanted to win that Bluff.
100%.
And for him to do that, it's really cool. And I was stoked.
Yeah. How was your first Tour of Southland when you finally got there, bro? Like, obviously the team was awesome. It's quite a no pressure scenario there. Like, do you go, okay, racing with the big boys here? It's quite full gas, What's the go there?
It was really cool. Like racing with yourself and racing with Campbell on my first Tour of Southland. Yeah. Having the support from Circuit Ashford and Mitch.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Having those local Christchurch sponsors.
Yeah, Scapegrace,
Scapegrace, Naps.
Yeah, Naps, the man.
It was awesome. And Campbell sacrificed his race for me that week.
Right.
And it shows like how the thing with Campbell, he's always the strongest guy, but he's always willing to sacrifice his home race for someone else. He's a real team player.
Yeah.
And you see it at Crit Nationals, riding the front for Nick Kyrgyz.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think it shows at Southland last year when he does get his opportunity.
Yeah.
And like cycling, luck has to go your way.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had a bad luck the first stage.
Yeah.
Disappointed in that, but to prove that he was able to come back the next day and put it all on the line.
Yeah, 100%. Do you know, so talking about that stage where you were trying to go just finish towards out from the start, but Laurence was did you have the under 23 jersey or you were just behind?
I was behind Corbin.
Yeah, and I got up the road and I was with Ruben.
Yeah.
Ruben's up on the road in the break, and thankfully, Gus, I got dropped from the break. I wasn't going very well, but I remember because he was there and I was like, fuck, now I can't really roll anyway. And I got dropped over this KOM. They ripped it. James Williamson ripped it anyway. And Ethan Batt might have as well. And under Ruben there. So it actually worked well because then if I was up there, I couldn't roll anyway because I was taking the under 20 jersey away from Laurence, and then came back. And then me, Laurence, Max rode the whole day, chase day with, the whole day, like full gas. And then it was me, Campbell, and then two of Vinc's teammates trying to bring the gap down for the under 23 jersey. Yeah. And Campbell, I was going to death, of course, but then Campbell had this extra thing that he could do every time. It was pretty cool, you know?
That's where cycling's such like a selfless sport.
Yeah.
I find it really hard to explain cycling to like a person who doesn't know how it works.
Yeah.
Like you're in a team, but you're racing for someone else's individual result.
That's right.
You're sacrificing, putting everything on the line for someone else. And if they win, you win.
Yeah.
But you're not actually winning.
That's right. And then Vink wins yellow, but we were riding a few, and his team's chasing with us to chase down, but he gets yellow, and then you're going for the under 23. So it's real hard to explain. It's a crazy sport, isn't it?
But yeah, like you said, Campbell's at that Southland, he was putting it all on the line for me and my goals. Yeah. Like all his goals and aspirations were out the window.
Yeah.
All for myself. And that's where, it's such a amazing sport.
Yeah. So my original question, going back to your first Southland, you didn't win a stage.
No.
You went in there saying, I want to win a stage. Which was fucking awesome. And then it didn't have, so we're like that fight again.
Yeah, of course. I love to win. I'm super competitive.
Yeah.
Those
other guys knew who you were, and they knew you could do it in the kick, and you were you're in the mix. What was your best result there? You were up there.
Third in the final stage.
So I've still got a better result than Laurence Pithie for Southland. Oh no, I got two of them.
Yeah.
Just joking, bro. Just joking.
I sort of I guess I got bullied a little bit by the older guys at that tour.
Yeah.
Young guy, new kid on the block.
That's right. And you're up there.
Not a lot of respect.
Yeah, that's right.
And I guess, I was getting in their way in the sprint.
Yeah, yeah.
But I want to win it just as much as they do.
That's right. You've got every right to be at that, that pointy in the race. And the crazy thing was, Angus, bro, you don't know how crazy this shit is. Those corners coming out in that 60, fighting, and the finish line's 100 meters away, and these guys that are proven champions already, and they've got this new kid on the block, Laurence Pithie, right in there and trying to win as well. So it's like, fuck, I couldn't be there. Too scary. And I haven't got the power to do it either, but Loza was there the whole time fighting, you know?
So yeah, because obviously racecraft, or you're not afraid, obviously, to like you said earlier, you like to lead from the front and ride hard and things. So I guess you're just in that mindset, you're just in that moment, aren't you, really? So it didn't really matter who is actually around you, because which will no doubt has already led on to when you've been overseas riding for Groupama-fdj and things, because inevitably you end up in the pro peloton or wherever, and you've got all these bloody stars that are all around you, and you've got to apply the same theory, right? You just got to like block it. Well, I'm me, and I deserve to be here, and you're just another rider, and I'll ride around the outside if I want to, or put you in the gutter.
If you don't do that, you're out. You're never going to win a race.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
I respect these two. I want to stay back here at the end of the back, and then no, you have to fight.
Exactly. Right? You've got to be hungry and fight for the win and fight what you want. Otherwise, you'll just get pushed around in the sport.
Yeah.
And cycling is a lot about respect and what jersey you're wearing.
Yeah.
Like racing last year in Europe, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Yeah.
Racing with the Continental team at the smaller races, we get pushed around a little bit.
Yeah.
No respect. get
Yeah.
told to
You lose yourself.
Go down the back.
Yeah.
get out of my way
Yeah.
because you're like the little guys.
Yeah.
And do you listen to them?
No, of course not. You
But there's
can't.
just this negative vibe.
Yeah.
Actually, you get bullied
Yeah.
and pushed out. It's
as,
standard.
as soon as you
Given once.
you give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
Yeah.
But then the difference between racing with the continental team and then moving
World Tour.
racing into the world tour with the world tour team at those 1.1 races.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, I did a race with Campbell, Ollie Jones.
Yeah.
Black Spoke were there as well.
Yeah.
And of course, Campbell was trying to stay close to me, but
Yeah.
he'd be on my wheel. And then 2 seconds later, I'd look back and he'd be 20 wheels behind because someone who thought they were higher on the hierarchy than him have just gone and pushed him straight off my wheel. But no one's really pushing me at that race because I'm racing for the world tour team.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Right.
It's
And they've got more respect.
Yeah, it's no different than
So
Tour
it's just
South.
the jersey you're
Yeah.
wearing,
Yeah.
essentially.
It's like the
You
same
get
as
that on
South
all
right?
levels.
Yeah, it's like if the back in the day there was like Draper, there's all the Aussie teams that come over, and if you weren't in that fight, you weren't allowed anywhere near the front. Like, and if you tried, you're in this washing machine wasting power. It's just how it is, eh? So
Exactly.
work it.
So let's talk about
Yeah.
2021 overseas.
Yeah.
Bloody successful year. First time round, isn't it?
Yeah, it was very successful. I had a lot of highs and lows. I crashed too many times. I came down, I think 10 times last year.
Is that just because different new speed, open roads, people are nuts in the peloton, or just crashes? Just
and magnitude of things. I mean, crashing's part of the sport. I remember getting to Europe at the training camp, new bike, different wet Italian roads, descents.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
decked it on the second or third day in the training camp.
Yeah, wow.
Just we were going down a hill.
Are the surfaces quite different? Do you find that or
No,
not?
it's like bitumen as well. Some of
Yeah.
it can be quite different. The biggest thing over there is there's no speed signs on descents for the corners.
For the corner.
Yeah, gotcha.
So you kind of have an idea in New Zealand how quick you can go
Go-
around
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
I was still getting used to disc brakes, the bike.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Bro, and so you went over this new team, you went overseas.
Yep.
Bro, you go over there, you sign basically Pro Tour, right? You get all the same gear. So what did you get? You go over there and you
Oh.
TT, run us through the bike situation.
It was like Christmas. I got there.
Yeah.
Had 2 race road bikes, my time trial bike with all the gear on it.
so your
little,
power meter.
little name tags. Yeah. Power meters on all the bikes.
Yeah.
Got a big suitcase, a little suitcase full of clothes and kit.
So every type of rain jacket, thin, thick, every
Yep.
type of bib short, long, winter, warm, cold, medium,
Thermal.
climbing, thermal, everything.
Yep.
How many pairs of socks? Run us through it.
Oh,
Just everything, right?
oh yeah, kit to last a full season.
Yeah.
Like,
And dress wear as well. So you got all
Yep.
hoodies, jackets, and yeah.
But when you say
Cool.
kit to last the whole season, it's not wear it for one race, throw it away.
no, of
No.
course not.
No.
Yeah.
I ended up needing much more kit
Right,
because I was
Crashing,
putting
perhaps.
holes.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of it.
So the replacement program there is if you need it, you'll get it.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And same with the bike, obviously, if you deck the bike.
Yeah, very professional team.
Yeah.
Has
Wow.
great sponsors.
So of any of those
backing us.
frames or any of those bikes that you crashed, did you ride a frame off?
Yeah, it's 2. I actually wrote 2 frames in one day.
Do you get to keep them or what do they do with those?
Nah, they take them back.
Do they? You
In
don't
the-
get a
in the
memorabilia.
bin.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
I've got the scars to
Yeah.
the wee memorabilia.
Were you like when you land, were you nervous meeting everyone?
Yeah,
being
very
around the pros?
nervous.
Like, what's the go there?
Well, I wasn't with the pros at that training camp. It was just for the Conti team
Yeah,
in Italy. So I got there. Me and Ruben traveled with Ruben.
So that's cool. Another
Yeah,
Kiwi fella.
Really
Cool.
cool to have
Yeah.
another Kiwi guy, someone who speaks English.
Yeah, that's right.
And like Kiwi.
Yeah.
Kiwi slang.
Yeah.
It was super exciting. I remember landing in, I think Nice.
Yeah.
Landed in Nice. And the Groupama-fdj car.
Work it.
little
All sign
picture
right
like
up.
that, so I can-
Yeah.
Work
Yeah.
it
And I'd never seen a team, like a proper
in person.
European team car.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Like goosebumps.
Yeah,
Almost.
wicked,
Like this
wicked.
is real.
Yeah.
About to embark on probably the biggest journey in my life.
Yeah.
Super excited. And then getting to the team camp, we showed up a little bit late because of nationals.
Yeah.
So the team camp had already been going on for a couple of days, and yeah, it's a different world, just straight into French speaking.
Wow.
How important is nationals to these teams? Like, if you've got the opportunity to race nationals in your own country, is it important to them that you do that?
Yeah,
Or is
for
there?
some teams maybe not, but
Yeah.
but for Groupama-FDJ it is really cool, especially to have the opportunity to wear the national champs jersey in the peloton. And Mark Medio and Groupama-FDJ, also the FDJ women's team, have a really cool thing where they don't have any sponsors on their kit. It's basically just a kit for the national champs, really honoring the colors or the flag.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's important to try and win that race, and it is a big goal.
Yeah.
Which we will be racing for this time next week.
That's right. We'll get to that. So you're over there, train, do heaps of races. Now, one race
well, first of all, where are you based when you're there? Like, where is team based?
So our team's based in Besançon, which is
where's that, Reon? Where's that on the map?
It's in Linwood. Where the hood at.
Quite close to the Swiss border. That's where the continental team's based. So our living setup, we've got like the service course. Where I lived, I had my own little apartment last year, which was really nice, like self-contained.
Working.
And that was on the 4th floor of our like service course building. So
service course has got all the bikes, all the kit, like all the food nutritionists, where the team is just the base of the team.
So this is a team provided accommodation.
Yeah, I pay for it.
But,
it comes out of my salary.
Yeah.
But most of the guys live there. Not the Frenchies really. But yeah, so bottom floors, service course, garage. We've got like the lamb there as well, which is where the development's made for our team.
Wow.
Like the head of performance all there. Second floor is the offices. There's the saunas there as well. There's like cryotherapy.
Wow.
Room. Yeah.
Just thrown in it.
Yeah.
You're right in it, eh? How could you go wrong?
Right into it. Got the offices there, which is really handy. We travel to all our races from there, which is awesome. It makes everything for myself and Ruben so much easier because it's all based in one spot.
Yeah, wow.
Which is super good.
Yeah,
it's a super environment. And third floor is the gym, which is like open to the public as well. And then our apartments are on the 4th floor.
Man, what a setup, eh? What a setup.
It sounds amazing, doesn't it? And it sounds like being a pro is just the coolest thing ever with all the stuff and things. But it must have its can't all be roses, right? It must be pretty tough along the way and some.
It is a very different lifestyle, like not conventional at all. I remember getting to Europe and getting into my first race, which was Lissimon, Tim Merlier, Van der Poel, Cavendish, I think was there. It was crazy. I'd never raced with probably over 100 guys, 200 riders.
A huge shock to the
roads.
system.
Really?
Yeah.
I was, after that race, DNF.
Yeah.
What am I doing here?
Yeah, work it.
Am I actually cut out for this? And it was a huge race.
Yeah.
And like lots of 6 or 7 World Tour teams.
Yeah.
And it was a real big eye opener. And I was like, right, I'm in it. This is how good I have to get.
Wow.
But yeah, it was really, and then my second race, which was also in Belgium, I crashed twice.
Yeah.
Which put me back to square one.
Wow. And so you've got to take into the mental, like the strength. You're like, you've gone over there, you've got this, you got your room, the pressure, the stress, the money, the manager, and then the first race DNF, huge shock as in strength. Oh, this is nuts. The speeds are different. The strength, the riders are 50 times better than me. Then, get back into the ball game again, and then boom, crash again, circumstance of the race. So it's not a good start until, it's not the fairy tale start. We're in the team. The reality set in. You've got to have to fight. You have to train. You have to stay focused and mentally strong as well to keep this pushing forward and going, because a lot of people will give up here.
But not a bad thing though either. Like, yes, it would have been probably nice to have this fairy tale beginning and bits and pieces and things, right? Beautiful. But that's right. Not a bad thing to actually get a proper reality shock and go, actually, shit, this is how good I need to be, and I'm going to be that good, and then probably put a lot of focus back in your head. I guess, though, the teams understand that you're coming from New Zealand and you haven't been involved in this. So they must know that it's going to
100%.
take a
Yeah.
few races to actually, because
Right.
like when you got 200 people in a race or whatever, and like you say, you haven't raced with that many people before, like the whole thing about working out how long it takes me to, if I end up down the back, how do I get to the front, and how does all this happen?
It's
and
a K long.
all of that you only learn as you
Yeah.
bloody race it, right?
I never left the back at that race.
Yeah. Nah, that's it. You won't. And you get a flat
Yeah.
tire. The peloton is strung out with Vanderpoels on the front, ripping it. Then you got all the cars behind. Mate, next level, just a total different ball game.
Massive learning curve. Like in New Zealand, there's like really strong riders.
Yeah.
But maybe 10, 15.
Yeah.
Over there, all 200.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All of that ability, and then
Yeah.
you've got on top of that the 10 riders that are and then it's like the depth
next
of
level.
rider over there. Like it's
Yeah.
out the gate.
So it wasn't all bad though, was it?
I wasn't all bad.
2021.
No,
It
no.
was-
Yeah. So should we talk about as in terms of your best result over there for that team? And that's the one that me and Kate watched on TV.
The Baltic chain
Oh,
race.
you got some other stuff. Tell us.
Yeah, I guess winning the GC at the Baltic Chain Tour was a really huge result, and it was my first win in Europe. But I'd probably rank my best result being Circuit de Walney, which was a 1.1, which is classed as like a pro race.
Yeah.
Had 6 World Tour teams in it, coming third there. That was
Okay, gotcha.
I'd
Boom.
rank that.
So who was in that race?
Well, that race was won by Christophe Laporte, and so you had Cofidis,
So it was Cofidis and then
Argy Desert,
yep.
Lotto. Trying to think who else.
I'm having a look.
So is
down
that a
here.
1 day? Was that a 1 day race?
A 1 day race in
yeah.
Belgium. I wasn't racing for myself. It had been a terrible day for me. I'd punctured. Took me probably 25k to get back to the bunch.
Wow.
Um,
So again, not giving up, bad luck, not working for himself. Why did team leader crash? Or just
no,
circumstances?
so it was a really hard race. We'd
Yeah.
been on the limit for all day. Took probably 120k for the break to even go, and I'd been going for it at the start, trying to get some pretty miserable conditions early on, and I ended up riding the front against World Tour teams into like this little climb for our leaders. We had Lewis Haskey, Paul there, who's really good, like classic guys and really good sprinter.
Yeah.
So I was riding for them. Yeah, had the puncture, managed to get back, and then rode the front, and then I hit this massive pothole, which basically tilted my seat all the way down.
Yeah.
And my bars had also tilted, so I just felt really foreign on the bike.
Yeah.
And I remember vividly going into the final lap. We finished around a little circuit that had a small climb in it, and Lewis came up to me. He's like, "How you feeling?" I'm like, "Mate, I'm screwed, not good." And he's like, "Same." So we decided we'd ride for Paul, because in those races, because of the level, you don't know how the race is going to pan out.
Yeah.
We're not controlling it. It comes down to the World Tour teams in the end.
Yeah.
But we were all there, so we were committed to the lead out for Paul. And I was sort of the last man. We're quite far back with a few K to go.
Yeah.
The final K, 1500 meters, I managed to ride around the outside and slot onto the AG2R team.
Yeah.
So like Oliver Narson was there,
So,
those sort of guys, and they were riding for can't remember, someone who used to ride for FDJ.
Yeah.
Really good French sprinter. Marc
Thoreau.
Marc Thoreau. So right place, right time.
yeah.
Paul had lost my wheel.
Yeah.
So he's a really fast sprinter.
Yeah.
Probably next to Mar from France. And it came down to me, really. I kind of knew Paul wasn't there.
Yeah.
I was just sprinting to try and sprint.
Yeah.
I was on the right train.
Yeah.
And basically all I had to do was just follow the wheels in the end and hold on. Laporte absolutely flew, smoked all of us.
Yeah.
Just managed to hold on for third.
So, of course, this is a one-day race, right?
Yeah,
So, I'm just looking here, 194 kilometers, 2,023 vertical meters of climbing.
Yeah.
What's the average speed round?
Fuck, do I know? I bet
45 kilometers an hour,
Yeah.
194 kilometers, 2,000 meters of climbing, and 45k an hour. So tough day out.
Very.
That shows you the depth in the race.
Oh,
and the World Tour teams can
yeah.
control at those speeds, you know. And then, so were you on the junior team? You're
Yeah, that was
junior
the
team.
Continental
So
team.
fuck, that's a huge result, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the first time the team had got on a podium at a point.
Really? Oh, and
yeah.
so that there is just showcasing the talent that is right here.
Yeah.
You know,
So
like,
do your
what-
stakes go up? Do your
Of course it does.
Maybe a little bit.
You gotta
but
tick
you can't
next to your
read
name.
into it too
Yeah,
much.
you can't. But it's like it's showing something, isn't it?
yeah.
It's always on to the next
Yeah.
next race.
No one's talking about the guy that came. How many people in the race?
What-
100th.
Yeah.
You know,
But
like
you're only as, like you just say, you're on to the next race. You're only as
Yeah.
good as your last. You only remembered for
Exactly.
your last
That's
race,
right.
really, aren't you?
that's right.
Unless you win the Tour de France,
Yeah,
and
yeah, that's right.
might be a bit different. But
Yeah.
um,
So Wicked, that's a huge result for you. I'm pretty
Yeah,
proud of that.
I'd say that was my biggest result. Yeah, I was really stoked.
And the reaction from the team, and were they all like?
yeah, I think
Wicked?
they were all
Like,
pretty pleased.
Yeah, Wicked.
Yeah.
Sweet.
so the Baltic Chain Tour, though, were you the designated GC rider there, or was that
Funny
not-
story. I wasn't leading into it. Hugo Page was the designated leader, but then after the first stage, well, midway through the first stage, we had a chat and plans changed, and that's where I said I'd take it up and go for the sprint.
How many stages was this
It
tour?
was 3 stages.
3 stages. And how'd you run us through that? How'd you go on the first? So
So I came second in the first stage, second in the second stage, and second in the third stage.
So were you? But you got sprint points. So
So he
were you
wins
in
the
yellow?
youth, wins the points, wins the
Yeah.
yellow.
Yeah. So were you on the first stage? What was your position on GC and all, any jerseys? What?
So that a tour like that, which is flat,
Yeah.
around Estonia, Latvia area, it all comes down to bonus seconds.
Yeah.
So there's sprint primes throughout the stages,
Gotcha,
sprint
gotcha.
primes on like sprint bonus
Yeah.
seconds on the line.
Yeah.
So at that race, it was really cool. Like I was saying earlier, the continental team riders can move up and race with the World Tour team,
Gotcha.
but it can also happen vice versa.
Yeah.
So
wow.
at that race, Miles Scottson, who
Oh,
rides for
shit.
the World Tour team, an Australian rider,
Yeah.
he came and raced with us.
Work it.
So he's top lead out man
That's
with,
work it out.
with
Mm.
Arnaud Demar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had the privilege of working alongside him and learning from him, and he was leading me out of that tour, which
Holy
was
shit.
And that's just a pure development reasoning that they bring them down. Is it not because they ain't got nothing to do up in the pro, but more to bring
Yeah.
experience to you guys?
it helps us. It happened a couple of times last year. Like I was rooming with Miles, which was awesome. Like just got to prick his brain.
Wow.
He had some amazing stories.
Isn't that cool?
Amazing, isn't it?
And like vice versa, it would also be helping him as well, spinning legs, getting some racing in, learning humbleness, working for others, and giving back as well, and vice versa. Like it's a full circle of support. It's pretty epic.
You must have worked pretty hard for the points thing though, because
On day 2, you lost today.
No, so
What's the go? Because what I watched, or what me and Kate watching, was it the last day?
yeah, the last
But
day.
the other guy took yellow on the first. He got the first sprint, and he took
Yeah.
yellow, and they're like, Pithy's out of yellow, and we're like, oh no, like
Yeah, so virtual. I was started with the yellow leaders jersey.
Yeah.
And it was a terrible day.
it was raining,
pissing with
because you didn't
rain.
know where he was because he had the jacket on.
Yeah.
We're like, where is he? I think I was messaging your dad or your mum. We're
Crosswinds
like,
and
oh, where
stuff.
is he? He's up there. But yeah, sorry.
And so virtually, I lost the jersey halfway into the stage when I got rolled for the sprint primes. Sprint bonus seconds. So
Yeah.
I came third, and Carl Patrick Luck came first.
Yeah.
And virtually, he went 1 or 2 seconds in front of me.
Yeah,
And then a breakaway of 3 riders went.
that's right.
They took the second sprint prime and
Yeah.
bonus seconds.
Did they have one of his teammates in that break up there, or did you have one of yours
I'm
up there?
trying to I don't think
Nah,
so.
okay.
So then basically it was coming down to the final sprint for the line. Whoever won across that and got the bonus seconds
Yeah.
would win.
Yeah.
And luckily I had Miles there guiding me through
Yeah.
torrential rain,
Yeah.
puddles.
Yeah.
And a guy was still up the road, but I managed to win the sprint and get the bonus seconds and
And then take yellow.
hold on to yellow.
Yeah, working.
Or
How
take
was that?
it back.
Yeah, take it back. Sorry. How was that? Like, take your first yellow jersey for the team as well.
Yeah.
And overseas, like,
I was super ecstatic. I'd sort of been coming back a little bit after quite a nasty crash.
Yeah.
And to win the yellow jersey there and have the support of my the team.
Yeah, well, good.
Ruben,
Yeah,
like another Kiwi guy,
yeah.
putting like everything on the line to help me
Wow.
riding the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really awesome and really humbling.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show you again. So the first halfway through the stage, we were watching it, and this guy takes the virtual yellow jersey off Laurence, and then so now Laurence he knows he's out, out at this stage. You've got a new leader, and then just stay sharp and focused to rely on your team. And then you have to win those bonuses that stay focused till the end of the line and then win it. It's like,
because the team will be monitoring this the whole way through, are they, as well, and feeding back to you?
Yeah. Mentally strong, It just shows you like the resilience and how you can bounce back from shit that goes on in the race, punches, someone's taking the lead now, the win, the crosswinds, all that type of thing. It's pretty epic,
So to take the win overall, again, we just talked about before with your other race, you got third in the atmosphere and things. Like, how many races a year? How many races last year did your development team win?
Oh, I don't know. We had Marijn Vandenberg, who was a prolific winner last year.
Yeah.
He's moved on to EF Education First, Easy Post now. So he's gone World Tour.
Yeah.
He won a few races.
Yeah.
A few with his national team as well. 2 stages of Tour de l'Avenir.
Yeah, well, good.
And I was kind of a lot of the races throughout the year trying to lead him out and work for him because he was an older guy, better than me. At some races I was the leader, and then I got my chance at Baltic Chain Tour. So it does go both ways. But I don't know how many we won.
Okay, so but you guys, like it's not like you guys were winning all the time. So every win you get's a well rewarded thing. But
another tick. So it's got a podium. Got third at a 1.1 race, whatever it was, and now you're taking a yellow jersey, another tick to his name, which is the people
so early on too, right? So first year in, and you're jumping the ladder in the ranks of things.
You're just exposing yourself, and you're like that, And so what it's saying is the person who found this young fella and the management, they're like, boom, everyone's like, good scout. It's like rugby league when you go to watch an under 13 or 15 games. Hey, this kid's John Alomu's going to be good. Sign him, and everyone's like, whoa, he does it. Know what I mean? Just big steps in the right direction. And then this is just reinforcing everyone who signed the docker on this guy saying, we believe in this guy's got,
Yeah. It's a small sigh of relief as well.
Yes.
Because the team took me off no road results.
Yes.
So being able to give back and prove that they'd made the right investment and made the right decision on taking me on board.
Yeah. And which then is going to the next race next year, he's a proven winner. He can win. So, whenever who's going to be the team leader? Laurence. So now the belief in everybody on the team and sponsors are, hey, let's go with Laurence because he's, you know what I mean? So you're just building that culture of this guy can win and is going to win. So let's back him. So Laurence might get more chances than what he would if he didn't win anything last year, type of thing. You're in the mix more.
I'll be trying. I mean, this year is going to be a really big year. It's a contract year for me, I guess, trying to move into the World Tour.
Yeah.
So you were on a 2-year contract now, is what you're saying?
That's what you're on a 2-year contract. So
wow.
And this year, more races or more prestigious races or
more focused goals and hopefully some leadership. I know what I'm in for now. What the racing's like over there. It's not going to be a huge shock.
Yeah.
If I can try and stay on my bike and string along some good results and races, get some leadership support from the team, it would be really good.
Wow.
And I don't know, can you say this or not? I don't know, but your goal clearly go to Pro Tour, but you'd love to go with Groupama-fdj.
Yeah,
would that be the dream thing, to stay with them and give them back?
It would be awesome. I mean, they invested in me. I'd love to give back to the team and believe in them as well.
Especially if it's a good, safe setup, and
really
the whole structure, and you've got the junior, they're showing the support, putting riders down and moving up. Them, like the whole structure sounds pretty amazing,
Yeah, I mean, with our team, they are open to letting us go to other World Tour teams as well. Like I said earlier, out of the 5 guys that went World Tour, only Lewis went to Groupama's World Tour team,
and they'll know that because they'll know that they can only take so many into their own team.
Exactly.
And the last thing they'll want, because they'll know one day you might come back to them. So the last thing they'll want is you to not make it to the Pro Tour, right? So they're going to let you go somewhere else, but obviously, ideally, you'd go make your own way through the actual FDJ
Yeah.
group along the way through there.
Yeah, and it is just part of the business, right? And there's only so many spots to fill
Oh.
in the world. Like there's, so many teams, World Tour teams are folding, and there's these pros that are a little bit older that can't find spots, but it's like this is where the kind of future is, eh? So it's about getting as many of these young guys on these teams, eh?
And what do you see about that? Like inside the tour, obviously there is a bloody lot of teams that are on the edge of actually being financially viable. They come and they're going all the time.
Yeah.
And then there's the power teams at the top, obviously, with Ineos and
Lotto,
and
Sky's teams,
UAE and things like that. Is it right? Do you think it's fair that it's so lopsided and there's so many fringe teams, or is there a way of fixing that in your eyes? Or
Comes down to budgets at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think who's got more.
but should we
money.
be salary capping? Should we be doing something like that?
That's what they're saying, eh? They're saying there should be a
I
salary
mean,
cap.
you're going to say no salary capping because you're going to want as much as you can. But
of course.
But the future of racing, we went through that Ineos period or with Sky then, wasn't it? And they sat on the front and they made life boring and they did that.
Yeah.
And that's no good for the sport at all. I think last year we probably had a better year of
it's pretty
mixed
cool.
races and things and people
Yeah.
going on.
I mean, the thing about cycling is that anyone who gets on that start line could win that race.
Yeah.
True that.
Yeah.
So, at the
But
end of
but
the
if you've
day-
got if you've got 6 guys at the top of their game with every bit of technology, every marginal gain
Yeah.
going your way against the team that's still riding the same drivetrain that they've been training on last year.
On that, like when they used to say, like, oh, Sky's on the front again. Do you know what half the problem was, in my opinion? The other three top teams sat there and wanted the free toe, and they just let that happen. There's other ways they could have changed stuff to race against that kind of train mentality as well. There's lots of things they could have done. It was kind of like people kind of just say, we'll have the free toe up the hill and we'll get down to our 4 guys and chop it off at the end. There's a lot of things.
The other thing of that is I actually don't mind it. Not all the time, but there's some great footage in the last couple of years of Jumbo Visma.
Yeah.
And they're going up a hill and somebody's drilling it on the front. And when you do cycle a bike, you sort of know the effort and you appreciate the effort that's going in there, and it's quite a beautiful thing when they're in a bit of a train, just powering up that hill, and like
awesome.
peeling off one after another. And but it's good to see more than one person team have a go at that type sort of thing.
100%.
So national champs, that's the next big thing, obviously.
Yep.
Time trial. TTs, eh?
Yeah, time trial road
So
race.
are you in the under 23?
Yeah,
You are, eh?
yeah,
So,
under 23.
So the time trial is obviously, but the road race you're all together, eh?
Yeah, so
But-
time trial separate.
Yeah.
And
And you can win the overall elite if you do win.
in the road race.
In the road race, yeah.
Not in
Yeah.
the time trial. though.
Yeah, which is weird. They
So we
should-
saw last year Finn
he won the
beat all
Open.
the elites by
Yeah.
7 seconds,
Yeah.
but he could only win the under 23.
Mm.
Yeah, that's right.
Whereas hopefully if he wants to race, is allowed to race the elite race this
Yeah.
year.
So he's going overseas. So a lot of the problem has been for ages. New Zealand champs on the wrong time of year. Pros, you got to go overseas, and you don't want to peak here because you've got to go over there and peak. You won't get a contract. So right now, you're not on your A game. Of course, you haven't dug a big hole, kind of thing, but
No.
to peak for nationals.
Not on my A game,
But still going good.
Not top level.
Yeah.
But I'm still in
yeah,
good
it's good
form
shape,
and
of course.
shifting well.
Yeah. And so you're going with the ultimate. What are your goals with kind of nationals with the time trial? You want to try and win it,
Win
right?
at all
Always-
costs, right?
Always trying to win.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't go to a race if I wasn't
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to win or
Yeah.
help someone else win.
And who's so you under 23 you've got Logan Curry.
Yep.
He's a very dangerous rider. He's a
Very.
wicked time trial. What did he get at national worlds?
He came 11th at Worlds, I
11th,
believe.
but he was in the hot seat for ages. And
Yeah.
so who else in the TT? Finn Fisher Black,
Yeah, so Logan and Finn, Ruben.
Ruben, if he has a fly array as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that kind of the main kind of point out
Yeah,
riders?
I'd say so.
Yeah, gotcha.
I mean, Dylan McCulloch came 3rd last year.
Yeah, okay.
The triathlete on Black Spoke.
Yeah.
So you've always got those wild cards.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, I'd say Finn, Logan, and myself have been sort of the front runners the last few
gotcha.
years in the time trials.
Yeah, wicked.
What
have you done? So you got your team's TT bike.
Yeah, so I'm on the
What are you going to run?
Lafayette
You got a rear disc.
Hero Storm. Yep, rear disc.
What's your front wheel?
Um,
Shallow? Because you go up a hill, don't you? Is it
yeah,
out and back out?
I'll go for a deeper front wheel.
Yeah.
Shimano C60 probably.
Yeah. What's the do you know what the descent's like? coming back. It's
down to
quite fast,
Mira.
eh?
Yeah, I think it is quite a fast
There's
descent.
no sharp corners, so it's like fuck you.
Yeah, you'll be able to get some speed down there.
Wow. Okay.
It'll be a super hard race. I mean, 44K, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's almost an hour.
Yeah.
Depending on how quick you go.
Yeah. Will you do anything? I mean, obviously we don't want to tell people what gearing you're riding at the moment, but like, I mean, when we did Gorges with Logan, he had did he have a 55 front chain ring on the front, hey? Like, and you never know, but we can't really talk about that now because it's
what day's time trial?
It's on Friday.
On Friday.
I've got a 55.
Oh, there he goes. He's going to tell us anyway.
That's all right.
I was going to say the podcast might not quite be out, but it would be. But
no secret. It's
no,
all right.
Oh, good lad. No
I
secrets.
mean, if you're gonna, I believe if you're gonna win, you're gonna win.
Yeah. Put him in the gutter, son. Put him in the gutter.
There's not much.
Yeah. Okay. And you got the meanest. What helmet you got?
A Jaro.
Jaro. You got booties.
Yeah. So I have all the team equipment on.
Yeah.
LA skin suit, LA booties.
How cool is that for all the audience down there, other people in the time trial to see the Laurence in his full and all the other riders in their wheel tool kit? Like it's
the other
awesome.
question to that is, and I quite like asking that, is how much pressure does that put on you? Like knowing that you've got all this kit, you've got all the, like me, got all the gear but no idea. But like you've got all, all the kit's still shit.
Yeah, you're right, mate,
but
you're right.
like is there any pressure on you? Like
there's always pressure. Every race there's a little bit of pressure, but you just can't really let it get to you. You just have to go out there. At the end of the day, you're just pushing pedals, riding a bike.
And that could be the difference, eh? Like those top guys, whoever kind of, I mean, the power is roughly around the same, give or take 5 to 10 to 20 watts. I'm not sure, but it's all that who's doing the best turn, the good start, who's gone way too hard, who hasn't assessed the course, who is not wearing booties, who's chosen
who's the slipperyest.
There's all those types of things. So it's kind of like who's got their head in the game, eh? And and also right and got good legs on the day as well, right? But it's pretty epic, eh? I mean, the pressure's insane.
It's a bit of an art, time trialing, all about marginal gains and getting it right. Being dialed into position.
What about this road race? Because what do you take of that? Like they've shortened it
4 times. Well, they've added a hill climb, haven't they? Is it 4
times up Mangakawa?
And is that roughly 10-15 minute climb?
I think it's about a 10-minute climb.
10-minute
I've
climb
never ridden
with Bennett on the front.
Yeah, probably 9.
Probably 9. Eh? What are you? Are we definitely not going to go into tactics here? But what are your thoughts going into it? You want to try and win, right?
Yeah.
Because did Finn Fisher-Black ride with Bennett last year at all? I mean, I wasn't in the race.
He did help him out.
He did help him out. And that was visible from watching it on TV. You're like, oh, he's helping and riding. So be interesting to see what happens there, eh?
Last year was my first elite national champs, the first time in that environment. And yeah, like you said earlier, they race it under 23s and elites together, which I don't really agree with.
Neither.
I think under 23 should be a separate race because so much stuff can change.
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
but have we got enough people to separate them?
Yeah, we do.
Of course we do.
100% we do. Yeah, we do.
Especially last year. Like, you've got guys, Logan Curry, Finn, Corbin, myself, all the under 23s, Campbell.
You'd have a bunch
who can make a race of
it.
Yeah. And really, it would have been a completely different race.
But on the flip flop of that, though, if you're racing under 23 or elite, obviously, if you're racing the same race together, you can take both titles. If we separate that out, you don't get the elite title.
Exactly.
Yeah, it does. But
that's where,
which may be your only time that you actually get a shot at this, because you never know what happens in the future, and timing might say you're not back here.
There's a race in a race, and sometimes when there's an under 23, then they won't chase, and there's 4 under 23s of one elite, and then they won't. It's just this whole thing of like he's chasing it as it's a game of chess, isn't it?
It brings a completely different dynamic when you've got elite guys racing for the elite title and under 23s racing for the under 23 title. And then especially for the elites as well, because they don't want to tow away an under 23 who can take their title.
And they know then the under 23s are all chasing. It's just so it's me personally as well. I would love to see it separated. There's enough depth and numbers in both races, and it's a national title.
So can you race up then?
Wow, that's
would you make it? You could race up if that was the case.
If they separated it, I mean, I'm sure like guys like Finn Fisher-Black, who's world tour, he won't do any under 23 races this year. So it doesn't really make sense for him to race under 23. So he could make the decision to race the elite race.
Good point.
So actually your point on the fact that it's not in season for these guys, and they're doing the national champs.
Yeah.
That actually must make it harder for you, because like the guys who go to race well, maybe not, maybe it makes it harder for them, but on the other side of the world, when all the national champs start rolling around, they're all race fit and they're all been at the top end of their thing and battling away. You're kind of coming in a bit, not rusty, but you know, would it be nicer if you actually did have a couple of months of racing under your belt before you got there?
I don't mind, really. I think, for some people, maybe those seasoned World Tour riders. But for myself,
But precious, are they?
Yeah.
No
comment.
Seasoned, mate.
No comment.
They're in their routine, mate. They're seasoned.
No,
boys.
but it's much better now. It's in February.
Yeah.
It used to be like beginning of January.
January, yep.
Yeah.
But so you've got an extra month to prepare now.
And in case Cycling New Zealand are listening, should we bring it back to Christchurch?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, mate, so much better for the sport.
I reckon. I think we should start a
So much
petition.
better.
Yeah, I had a friend from school that I caught up with just last week who said how gutted he was that Nationals isn't in Christchurch.
Yeah.
It used to be his favourite part of summer.
Yeah.
Coming down
Even
on
non-cycling,
Stars
hey?
Pass
Yeah.
Road. Yeah, because I remember when I was a young gun, well, not even riding, but going out with Dad, Stars Pass Road up
How
to,
good was
up
that?
to the Cup,
Yeah.
down Hackthorn. It was lined with people.
Yeah.
Oh, it was like
Amazing.
Tour de France stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of course, COVID would probably put a dampener on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Sure.
I just don't think it's the same.
Yeah.
And cycling really, the community got around it, and everyone was
There was
really
an-
And we've been
into it.
saying that a bit about national champs for the mountain biking this year, because it's at the quarry,
Which is insane.
and that's the same
like a
thing. The
World Cup.
atmosphere we get out of the quarry there is
Yeah.
amazing too.
Yeah,
That's
and when
awesome.
in Cambridge, I was there when Kate was racing, and Campbell was there as well. But mate, there's no one at the finish line. There's no one
No.
on the hills. There's like people scattered. It was like it was desolate, if that's the right word. It's like when
It's like, I
it's
think
cra-
Rowley shared the photo on Facebook the other
yeah,
day.
he did. Yeah,
Line,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
on the
Yeah.
finish
Yeah, yeah.
straight. 5 crowds, like
Yeah, yeah.
5.
Mate,
5
I
wide.
got the meanest photos of me when I did nationals, and I
Yeah.
think I did 5 reps up there on the front, and there's just lines of people, and you've got the beautiful colour of all the kits, Jesse Sargent and Radio Shack.
Mm.
It was just insane. You had the old benchmark kit, like all these guys now have all gone world tour, and all the people with signs made. Like Scotty Brown's got really involved in that. Like
They
he
did.
sponsored.
Yeah,
nationals.
that's right.
Jess was on the car, like the feed stations, throwing stuff out.
That's
like,
right. And
windows,
the tour of the cars up the
Yeah.
hill each time, throwing
Yeah.
merchandise out and things.
Yeah.
And
you know, Kate, she got who won? She got third her first nationals. It was a triathlete, ankle socks and all. She got
ankle socks.
yeah. She was in the
Please,
break.
I'm pleased you've
She
knocked
was in
that
the
out
break.
of
She was in the break all day. Not even an elite cyclist, triathlete. She got on the podium
But
at nationals there on that course alone.
the other really good thing about when we used to have it here in Christchurch was actually the Saturday, because
was the skins race, the Grand Prix.
that's right. We had
Yeah,
a Grand
yeah,
Prix
yeah.
where anybody could enter and
Yeah,
ride
yeah,
on the same
yeah.
course.
And
And that was
yeah,
bloody awesome.
We used to do 10 laps up there.
Yeah.
That was my first big race, and I got 13th. Scott McDonnell won, and I was fizzing. You got your own skins t-shirt. I was such a bundy, but
How-
you know what I mean?
how
It's pretty
good.
cool.
But
What
it
a
was
killer.
like, it was
Oh, it
really
was
cool,
awesome.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
bring
awesome.
back the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
They do try to do that up in Cambridge as well, but
Do
I
they?
don't think it gets supported as much as
Yeah.
it was here.
Yeah, and we're not dissing Cambridge either.
Oh,
We're
no.
not at all. We're just
Oh, we are
amazing.
biased because we're here. But
Yeah, but I'm talking. Me personally, I'm talking about the culture and support for the sport, and all the better. The people come out and young kids sing, want to be But it's wicked. What a loss. Simon Hollander had a lot to do with that
He did.
nationals. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. So getting back to this young fella here. Hey, just time here. Guess I think who won gold? The first New Zealand's first gold.
She has she?
Kate
Have you been
just texted
busy
me.
messaging there in the background?
Zoe
Yeah,
just won.
Has she?
So
First New Zealand to take
Zealand's
gold
first
at the Winter Olympics.
We've won
Amazing.
silver and bronze before,
Correct.
but it's the first gold medal.
Yeah,
That's
awesome.
wicked, eh?
Super cool.
Did Annalisa Coburger ever win silver?
Bro, I don't know much about Winter Olympics. I'm not sure. Yeah,
He just
Okay,
makes
well, if it's the
like-
first New Zealand gold, then that
It
must
is.
be the case.
Yeah,
Then she must have only. I actually thought
Yeah, yeah.
Annalisa won
No, it's the first
in the
yeah.
giant slalom
Nah,
or whatever it
we've
was.
Never won a gold medal in the Winter Olympics. That's
Cool.
pretty cool. Getting back to this legend. Okay. Do you know? Guess who took you to your first A grade race? There, Loza.
Yeah, it was Reon out in
boy. Where was that? Lowburn, was
No,
it?
no.
Ayrton?
Ayrton.
Yeah, it was a
Ayrton, the
crosswind day.
little
Eh?
block, yeah.
I remember it was so you do like 3 laps or whatever, and I was telling Loz, I was like, just come on A grade, and you were like, oh, I don't know, because you didn't know if Dad or Andrew, and I kind of was, oh, come on, bro, I'll help you. It was there was obviously strong riders there, but I remember basically Loza did everything. He was like, his ears were open to everything that I was saying, and I was basically a nobody, but I was just trying to help, and say, bro, come in the A grade, bro. mate, you done all right. Finished your first A grade race.
Yeah, you were teaching me how to lap in the crosswinds and stuff.
Yeah, it was mean, eh?
Beginner back then.
And I was worried about his dad.
Putting me in the gutter.
Yeah. I didn't want to get beaten up by Ron. What did you put him in A grade for? Reon, stick to his plan. But no, it was very cool. I was very privileged to be a part of that, Loza.
Yeah, it was
pretty epic. Pretty epic.
Well, we're going to wrap it up. We're 2 hours deep into this.
Sick.
Amazing how quickly that went.
Yeah.
Laurence Pithie, thank you so much for giving us 2 hours of your time for some great chat.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're an amazing athlete, a talented rider. We're bloody looking forward to seeing you on the big screen from back here. And we're also looking forward to a bit of inside goss maybe along the way.
Yeah.
You know, don't forget, let us know what's going on.
Oh, well, first race, I think, back in Belgium for Le Salmon and GP Monterey again, which is the 2 races I DNF'd last year.
So Redemption.
Yeah, Redemption.
Are they on Sky?
Yeah,
they're on Sky Sports.
Or like the GCN Plus app.
Yeah,
cool.
So
Cool.
Awesome.
Just paid my GCN subscription again just the other day, so we're good to go.
Mean.
So hopefully, instead of being at the back, I can be on the front.
Yeah.
Time.
No, awesome. Yeah, and I just on that as well, like Laurence, really appreciate you coming in, spending 2.5 hours with us, sharing your knowledge, insight, your future goals, and kind of your cycling journey. Like this is the stuff that me and Angus we talked about for a while, but just like getting your life across to people listening, bro. Like you're going to inspire other young kids at races to see if Laurence can do it. I was doing all these other sports. You don't have to focus so early. Get a good coach that you trust and believe, the management, the pathway that you took. Like so, getting this kind of like positive energy and information out is only helping the cycling community as well. And I think so. Really grateful that you're open to this, bro. And
thank you very much.
Too much, eh?
And
Awesome.
here's the next invitation. Next time you're back, we want to have you back, and we want
Yeah.
to hear all the inside bits. So don't forget us when you're
Most
back.
definitely.
Reon, you got something for him?
Mate, we've got a
Not a
t-shirt
Walker
for you.
hat.
Now we hope it fits.
Awesome.
We've got a put them in the gutter t-shirt, bro. So just this is I guess
If
from
that
us.
doesn't fit, that means you need to go on a diet.
No, we don't talk about diets on the show because you need to get on one.
We
But
want to
yeah,
see a photo somewhere of you wearing that on the other side of the world.
Yeah, take it overseas, bro, and send us a personal photo of it. It'd be pretty cool. But mate, awesome.
We're assuming after the first race you do, we'll
On
have
the podium.
we'll have 200 new subscribers once you've told them all about it. I also want to say a big thank you to your parents, to your brother, and of course a big thank you to Manuel because mate, that guy's a legend, I reckon.
Yeah. And Andrew from the Hub as well for the coaching.
Andrew for the Hub, everybody that's been involved with you along the way.
Yeah.
Awesome. I want to just quickly before we sign off here, while we're rolling the thank yous, I want to say a big thank you to all the event organisers out there. Just thinking back to what we talked about with the Waka 100 and the trials and tribulations that Tim Farmer and his team at Enduro Events have been through, the Motor Tapu team, the Coast to Coast, everybody that's having events cancelled at the moment. We love you, event organisers. Please
100%.
don't stop putting them together.
Thank you very much to everyone.
Hopefully
Hopefully Nationals still goes ahead next week. Like New Zealand have done pretty well to try and operate it under red. So
100%.
Big thank you to our partners, people that have been involved with us along the way. Of course, our new partner, Scotty Mitchell, SJ Mitchell Building. If you need something built in Timaru, give them a
holler.
Look them up, give them a holler.
Tenelli kit, bro, I can't wait for my Tenelli kit to arrive. It's all got all sign righted up, extra leg length, arm length, got a speed suit,
custom
short
suit,
sleeve, 2-piece suit. I can't wait to get in that, to be honest.
So, of course, partner of the show, Tenelli Cycle Clothing, who are building a custom suit for your hour record, Reon, which we are getting to. We are getting to this hour record. We should have done the outdoor by now. You did have a bit of an accident and incident, so you're a bit of a. You've got to go and ride 1,000 Ks first at the Tuatara 1000, and then we're back on the job. And we should have some more hour record content by then once you've ridden your 1,000 kilometers. In fact, hopefully we'll have a podcast before you go away.
Matt Zenovich will win the Tuatara.
That's your call,
Matt
is it?
Zenovich. No one's going to beat him. He's nuts. Just did 420 Ks yesterday, and last week he did 330, average speed of 32 Ks an hour.
Big Ks.
Can he sleep on day
Big
day
Ks.
two?
So that's
though?
halfway done.
Can
already.
he back up? It's good to do one day at that. Can he do the day two though? Like Hayden McCormick can.
I don't know. Yeah, you've got Hayden McCormick.
I know. Miles Gibson.
Yeah,
like a weapon done.
Hey, don't forget Reon Nolan, Lawrence.
Mate,
don't forget rounds.
I haven't finished a race for a year.
Mate,
I'm just trying to finish.
Remember that bookie, Scott?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you just
God.
got put in the
I-
gutter.
I got put in the gutter. No, I'm just trying to finish, and Kate's not coming, so I'm going to get lost. I'm actually a bit nervous. Anyway,
You'll be right.
Awesome.
Of
Wrap it up.
course, Tailwind have been involved with some projects that we've been
Carpine.
involved with. Evo Cycles for
Yep.
looking after your gear.
100%.
Scotty Brown's, of course, for looking after my gear.
100%.
Thank you all for listening, watching.
Carpine.
Don't forget, like, subscribe, share. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Peace.
You can email all the complaints about Reon's bad language to
That's
the
right.
cyclingcollab@gmail.com.
I've been good tonight.
You have been good. Until next time, we are out, boy.
Peace.
Peace out.
Later.
Yes.